Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's pull up the most recent injury updates that we have and figure out, are some of these guys actually playing or not? I mean, if we are going to be in a spot where we have no Kelsey, we have no Waller, we have no Ant, it may get really ugly, ladies and gentlemen. So let me see the most up-to-date reports that we're working with, and let's try to see if we can make the best decision startable. So I have a couple reports about extensions. Don't really care about that at all. Adam Thielen will be good to go week 1. This was a question. Thielen has been dealing with an ankle. Of course, DJ Chark is out with the hamstring. Now, does this really impact us? No. Yeah, you're not starting Bryce Young. For the love of God, don't start Young unless it's a super flex format. Are you starting Adam Thielen? I would hope not. I would hope that we have a better option than to start someone that's going to be in an incredibly low volume passing offense, and on top of this, that's been dealing with said ankle injury. So it looks like Evans not going to come to an extension, but it doesn't matter because the Bucs aren't trading Mike Evans. Now, obviously, he's a franchise tag guy. I mean, I get it. He is someone that He's a franchise guy that the Bucs have built around since 2014, but it still makes so much sense if you were going to be looking at what we get in terms of the incentives for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus a contending team. I mean, if you're the Bucs, why don't you go out there and send Mike Evans, I don't want to say to the Chiefs, but to like the New York Jets if they have the money? You save the money, you possibly get a future piece back in return. I think that would make so much sense. But we also have Little Jordan Humphrey and Philip Dorsett getting upgraded from the practice squad for the Denver Broncos, where now maybe it puts in question a little bit more of Jerry Jeudy's availability on Sunday. Don't rely on Jeudy anyway. If you really wanted to start Sutton, if Jeudy misses, you can. And then Breece Hall did practice in full and will play on Monday as well, ladies and gentlemen. Really was never concerned about what we were going to have with Breece Hall here. More so just concerned about the usage of Dalvin Cook, regardless of a Breece Hall injury or not. But outside of that, we will see if there are any more noteworthy things that happen as we stream. Of course, we'll be live again tomorrow morning, updating injuries constantly. But let's go ahead and let's get this going. Chris says, love your show. Which 2 running backs would you start tomorrow? Miles Sanders, Cam Akers, Antonio Gibson, or Devon Achane. My man Miles Sanders looks like a 3-down back. You have to go ahead. You have to start Sanders. And I am very surprised to see this, but if you look at the projections for Cam Akers does look like someone that's going to get so much volume that even if we are terrified of the offense, that we have to go ahead and we have to start Akers regardless, especially if we're looking at Gibson, who will be in the committee where Brian Robinson gets the majority of the work in Washington, and Devon Achane, where you're going to see Raheem Mostert get the majority of the work in Miami as well. Now, Cober coming out says, Tony ruined my week. I am sorry, my man. Yeah, I think Tony ruined the week for a lot of people, and as did Sky Moore. Now, Lightning says, a full BBR, are we going to start Swift or Javonte? Also got UT plus 7.5. Hook 'em Horns, my man. Yeah, if you notice, maybe I'm talking a little bit weird. Maybe I'm saying the wrong words every once in a while. It's because you better believe we're watching our Texas Longhorns right now. And if we're looking at Swift or Javonte, I will go ahead. I will take Javonte, even if it's a little concerning now hearing Sean Payton coming out and saying that he's going to be on a snap count. Now, Sean says, do I start Ramondre tomorrow if he plays, or Brian Robinson versus the Cardinals? Worried a little about the usage since he's questionable. If Ramondre plays, I'm not going to be concerned about the usage. I would go ahead. I would start him, especially if it's going to be a full PPR format, given his involvement as a receiver. With that being said, Brian Robinson, obviously a great option at the same time. Christian says, still starting Dobbins over Jamal. Yes, the matchup's too good to pivot off of Dobbins. Tyler says, should we trade Adams for Kupp and Ayuk? Hell to the no, my man. Hell to the no. Keep Devontae Adams. Don't be trading for Cooper Kupp unless you're getting a massive discount. Broadaman says start Sanders, Najee, or London in the flex spot. We're going to go ahead. We will take Miles Sanders. I mean, 3-down workload where you're not having to play the 49ers. Hook 'em Horns. A big 3rd-down sack there. Shragged Fiona coming out says, I dropped Higbee for Tank. Have Goddard as the main tight end. Tank Dell, I really don't like it. Tank Bigsby, I'm okay with it. Going and getting the running back that has a lot of upside. given the fact that, I mean, if Etienne were to go down, he steps into a 3-down workload. I just really hope this wasn't taken down. I mean, Higbee's stepping into a pretty nice spot with no Cooper Kupp at this point. Okay. Dre says, which two do I start rest of season? Montgomery, James Cook, or J.K. Dobbins? It's really going to depend on the overall role that we get from James Cook versus Damian Harris on Monday night. It's very difficult to answer this as of now. As of now, if I had to do my rest of season rankings, I would have David Montgomery and J.K. Dobbins ahead of James Cook. Now, Riga Mortis says, trade Kupp for Devontae in a 12-team double flex format. 12-team double flex format. Go get the production. Go get Devonta Smith, my friend. And I forgot to tell y'all, ladies and gentlemen, I know 99% of y'all are already on Underdog, so please make sure you go take advantage ASAP of the site-wide special that they have. Saquon Barkley, more than less than half a total yard against the Cowboys on Sunday. No idea how the hell they're doing this many special pick'ems. I know it's week 1, but I've never seen anything like this. So yeah, I know y'all took advantage of the Patrick Mahomes one on Thursday. There's a Saquon Barkley one Sunday night as well. And then also remember, if you use promo code FLOCK on Underdog, you're going to get the Josh Allen special pick'em on Monday night. Work my butt off to get y'all that exclusive pick'em. So please, only if you use promo code FLOCK, make sure you're taking advantage of that. And if you're new to Underdog, it's not too late to get on, not too late to get those special pick'ems or check out any of these over here. I mean, if you're new, you're also going to get an additional special pick'em on top of that. You'll have 3 special pick'ems week 1. Also, promo code FLOCK's going to get you a 100% deposit match up to $100, our 2023 fantasy football rankings, and a free trial to flockfantasy.com, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Jason's saying I am number 2 on waivers. Do I use it to drop Kincaid, Rashad, to pick up either Schultz or Higbee? And if so, which one? Because I already have Kupp and Akers. While Rashad White is a sell high guy for me, hell to the no, we're not going to be dropping Rashad White, my man. I mean, you can get value for White. Second thing being is I really do like the bump that Higbee gets with the injury to Cooper Kupp. But at the same time, Dalton Kincaid does have more long-term upside. If you wanted to wait until after waivers clear and then go out there and pick him up as a free agent so we don't have to lose our waiver wire spot, then we can do it. I don't know if it's important enough to drop Dalton Kincaid to lose our waiver wire spot at number 2 because a big thing could happen this weekend, especially if your waivers are that good. Cooper says, I have Lawrence. Should I keep him this season or try to trade? If it's a 4-point passing touchdown format, I wouldn't mind if you decided to see what you could get for Trevor Lawrence. In a 6-point passing touchdown league, I'm going to be looking to keep him. Theron says, Dak or Deshaun? We're going to go Deshaun, my man. And then Lamb and Amari starting. Okay, hell yes. And we're going to be able to capture the upside of the Dallas Cowboys offense anyway. Margo says, pick one for the flex. PBR, Brian Robinson, Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Addison, or Romeo Doubs. We're going to go ahead. We will take Brian Robinson unless you're saying that it's 5 points per reception, which I doubt that's what you're saying. We have Schultz at tight end. Should we drop him for either the New Orleans Saint or Tennessee Titans starting tight end? No, my friend, please keep Dalton Schultz. Schultz is in a really good spot. Hell, you have no John Mechie with the hamstring. So, I mean, Schultz should see an expanded target share. Now, Kroer coming out says, PBR need a receiver and a flex. We have Sutton, Brian Robinson, Jordan Addison, Javonte Williams. Also, should we roster Romeo Doubs? We have Christian Watson. Yeah, if you wanted to roster Romeo Doubs, you have the roster spot for it. Go do it. I mean, I don't necessarily want to be like handcuffing our wide receivers by any means, but he could be useful. And then different league, Walker or Jamal. Thanks, Mason. No, thank you, my man. I mean, I like both guys. I think we are going to go Jamal Williams, though, now that Condre Miller is not playing this week. And first one, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Brian Robinson in a great matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. Aiden says start Kenneth Walker or Jamal. Really like both players, my man, but we are going to go Kenneth Walker. Walker looks like he should be good to go. Dr. DeChavius says Bijan and CeeDee Lamb for Garrett Wilson, Kenneth Walker, and T. Higgins. Who wins? The best player is going to be Bijan Robinson here. You're going to get an upgrade from Kenneth Walker to Bijan. You're also going to get an upgrade / lateral move from Garrett Wilson to CeeDee Lamb. You're having to pay T. Higgins to get it done. I'm going to go with the 2 best players. We're going to go with Bijan Robinson and CeeDee Lamb here, my friend. Now, Cedric says 12-team PPR. We have Justin Herbert at quarterback. Running back, we're rolling with Etienne, Kenneth Walker. Wide receiver, we have Tyreek, AJ. We have Goddard at tight end. We have Christian Kirk at the flex. And then on the bench, we have Dotson, Quentin Johnston, Zach Charbonnet, Elijah Mitchell, Van Jefferson, Jerome Ford. What moves should we be looking to make? Really, we're going to be waiting for a couple breakouts down there on that bench. I will say if Van Jefferson has a big week with no Cooper Kupp, at that point, he would then be a sell-high candidate for us and see if we can sell him for like Mike Williams to get the stack with Justin Herbert. And I'm assuming that's not going to happen, right? I'm just trying to find anything here, my man. Because you have a very well-balanced team. Doesn't really have a lot of holes. Will be very difficult to make any moves at this point. I think the main thing is we're going to be waiting for some of those rookies to end up breaking out. Joey says Najee or Dalvin this week. Breece Hall will be good to go, my friend. So we are going to go with Najee Harris over Dalvin, even in a very tough matchup against the 49ers. Craig says, who do we start at the flex? Rashad White or DeAndre Hopkins? If we look at the pick'em on Underdog, I mean, right now, if you look at their projected volume, I mean, it pretty much shows that you need to go ahead. You need to start Rashad White. Now, like I said, I mean, I'm taking the fewer than 51.5 rushing yards, but still. They have White at 74.5 total yards. I mean, with DeAndre Hopkins, now you have Treylon Burks good to go as well. Now, A1 the Great coming out says, 12-team PPR, should I trade Tank, A.J. Dillon, Zach Charbonnet, for Hollywood Brown and Chris Godwin? Other wide receivers are London, Terry, Pittman. Running backs are Eckler, Mixon, J.K. And then on the bench, we have Roshan, Devon Achane, and Kenneth Gainwell. Love those RBs on the bench. So if we're going to be going from Tank, it's very important to know if this is Tank Dell or Tank Bigsby. I'd way rather have Bigsby over Dell. But nonetheless, Zach Charbonnet to Chris Godwin is an upgrade. Throwing in A.J. Dillon, just another high upside running back. If it's going to be Tank Dell, then yeah, I will go ahead and I will make this move. If this is Tank Bigsby, it'd be a little bit harder to give 3 running backs that have upside if their situation were to change. Ogred says trading Mixon and Metcalf for Barkley and Ridley. Hell yes, my man. Mixon to Barkley, massive upgrade. Metcalf to Ridley, personal preference thing. So yeah, we're going to make that move. Jay Carlos coming out saying, 10-team PBR, double flex spot. We have Watson at quarterback. Running back, we have Bijan Pollard. Wide receiver, we have Ridley, Godwin. We also have TJ Hawkinson, DeAndre Hopkins, Cam Akers, Swift, Elijah Moore. Any moves you'd recommend? So we have a lot of depth overall with this team. But with that being said, it's not going to be as simple as just going through and making a 2-for-1 deal to get an upgrade somewhere else. The reason being is if we're looking at what we have with the starting lineup requirements, this is a league where you have 2 flex spots. Since you have 2 flex spots, we will be a little bit more hesitant than to go out there and say, okay, let's just take Cam Akers, DeAndre Hopkins, go trade him and get the best running back that you can in return. In reality, I think it's a very well-balanced team and suited well for this format. Oh my gosh, hook 'em horns, baby. But if we were going to make any moves, I think potentially we're going to look to go ahead and see if we can get Amari Cooper to stack with Deshaun Watson here. How we would get to Amari is we'd be going out there and we'd be trading Chris Godwin, and if we have a small piece on the bench, if we were to go through or trade DeAndre Hopkins and a small piece of the bench and see if we can make that double down bet on the Cleveland Browns offense. Now, M1L3 says James Cook or Chris Godwin at PPR. We're going to go with Godwin over James Cook this week, my friend. Started off rough with Gibbs not getting any carries. Yeah, I do think Godwin has a high overall ceiling as well. I mean, just overall, I really like the target volume you should see in a game where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers probably have to air the ball out. Floodgate says moving to college next week, but still going to watch the vlog. My man, happy for you. Should I start Breece, Brian Robinson, JSN, Deion Jackson, or Adam Thielen? Also, in a league 18, would you trade Kupp straight up for Waddle? You're the GOAT. No, thank you so much, my man. Regardless of format, I think you need to trade Kupp for Waddle if that's something that we can still do. And then for our starting lineup, we are going to go ahead. We will start Brian Robinson, just with it being a great matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. And yeah, I like Breece Hall obviously a lot more in the long term, but we want to see if we can get the clarity on what the workload's going to be for Breece Hall versus Dalvin Cook. But can everybody spam the chat? Can we get some W's in the chat for Floodgate going to college for the first time next week? That is awesome. He's been with us for a while. Can everybody spam W in the chat and show him some love? If y'all don't know, we have a thing called Flock W's, where if you have a thing that's going well in life, a thing that you're excited about, you got to come flex on everybody on the live stream. You got to let them know we got to celebrate together. We love to see it. Love to see it. And as you're down there in the chat, make sure you are dropping a like on this live stream if somehow you have not done so already. But Let's go ahead and let's find our next question. This one will be coming out from Big Dog Pound, who says, who would you start at running back in the flex? James Cook, Khalil Herbert, Mike Evans, Deontay Johnson, JSN, Judy, and Rashad Bateman. Running back, we're going to go ahead. We will start James Cook, full PPR format, Khalil Herbert, non-PPR format. And flex, almost regardless, we're going to go Evans. I mean, I guess we would like Evans, obviously, more in a full PPR league, but he does have touchdown upside as well. So go with a running back dependent on the format. And then for the flex spot, we're going to go ahead. We will take Mike Evans here, my friend. Cooper says, should we start DJ Moore or Deebo Samuel? I'm going to go ahead. I will take Deebo Samuel. With DJ Moore, I'm very worried about what we have with the overall passing volume in Chicago. I mean, hell, if you look at the projection that you have this week, just for his overall receptions, and of course, with these underdog projections, they will be more accurate than pretty much anything else you're going to look at. There's a reason why they sponsor the channel. There's a reason why they give y'all free pick'ems, because they know all their other pick'ems are priced pretty damn well. They only have DJ Moore at 3.5 receptions, my man. The volume is really hard to rely on in the Chicago Bears passing offense. Now, Kiwi Live coming out saying nothing, just a donation, which I appreciate. Nick saying Herbert, Eckler, Ramadre, Devonta Smith, Hopkins, Jamal at the flex. We have Goddard at tight end. We have Pittman on the bench, Kupp and Jonathan Taylor on the IR, full PPR. Do I look at trades like Kupp for Godwin or ride out these 4 weeks? If you only had one of those players on the IR, you only had one of Jonathan Taylor or one of Cooper Kupp, I would say we probably want to go ahead and we probably want to ride it out. Now, the fundamental issue is when we have both of these players, it's going to be much, much tougher to do. Now, it seems like we have a really strong starting lineup overall. So if we really wanted to, we could. But it can't hurt to go out there and throw Kupp, throw JT on the IR, see if we get something for one of these guys that we like. Now, of course, with that being said, don't just accept anything, because it is a league with only one flex where we do look decent elsewhere. Misa out again says Watson out. Are we going to start Pittman or Breece Hall? Richardson is our quarterback. I think we are going to go with Breece Hall. Practicing full today. Looks like he is good to go. I mean, with Richardson, he can go out there and crush based off his rushing upside, but similar to Justin Fields, worried about the overall passing volume that we'll have. Now, Kodiak coming out says, Yo Mason, are you flexing Jamal against the Titans or Brandon Cooks with Lamb and Gallup to possibly take a lot of looks away? We're definitely going to go Jamal Williams, my man. Jamal Williams is a must-start guy right now. If you are looking at the fact that not only do you have no Alvin Kamara, but on top of this, you have no Kendre Miller. Yeah, so if you have no Miller and no Kamara, please make sure you are getting Jamal Williams into your starting lineup, my friend. Now, Shrek Fiona says Michael Thomas, Brian Robinson, or Dalvin for the flex. Brian Robinson, must-start guy. Doesn't matter if Terry McLaurin plays. Doesn't matter if Terry McLaurin doesn't. It's just a really good matchup overall and what you're going to have going up against the Arizona Cardinals, where we definitely want to make sure that we are taking advantage of the overall game environment where they're going to run the ball a ton. Clayton says start 2, Hopkins, Mike Williams, Monster, or Drake London. We're going to go both Mike Williams and Raheem Mostert. Like, look at the freaking projections that you have with Raheem Mostert right now. We knew this was going to be a high-scoring game, but I honestly need to take an L. I ranked Mostert too low. On Underdog right now, they have him for 63.5 rushing yards and 82.5 total yards. This is more than almost any other running back not named like Nick Chubb, Tony Pollard, Bijan Robinson. Like, it looks like Raheem Mostert is a must-start guy, and it looks like I was too low on him. But ladies and gentlemen, we are one like away from hitting 300 likes on this live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there and drop a like. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems for week 1, it's not too late. Use promo code FLOCK and you're going to get 3 special bonus pick'ems as well. Never seen anything like it before this week, but I don't know what Underdog's doing. There's Saquon Barkley more than less than half a total yard against the Cowboys Sunday night. You get an additional mystery special pick'em with promo code FLOCK Monday night. Josh Allen more than less than half a yard against the Jets. And if you're new to Underdog, you get another one, a mystery special pick'em plus 100% deposit match, plus our rankings, plus a free trial of theflogfantasy.com. You're going to get all that with promo code FLOG. Make sure you take advantage while you can. AB says got offered Nick Chubb and Calvin Ridley for Garrett Wilson and Isaiah Pacheco. My running backs are Barkley, Stevenson, Mixon. Wide receivers are St. Brown, Wilson, Lockett, Ayuk, Cooks. Okay, so we have a ton of wide receiver help. Garrett Wilson to Nick Chubb. Personal preference, up to you. Probably Nick Chubb with this roster. Calvin Ridley versus Isaiah Pacheco. Calvin Ridley and not even close. So yeah, I think we go ahead and I think we take Nick Chubb and Ridley here. Great deal. Great deal, my man. Grant says 2 flex spots. London, Debo, Godwin, Mostert, or Dion. Like I said, it looks like Mostert is a must-start player at this point if we're looking at those projections. I think we have to go ahead. I think we probably take Debo Samuel as well. The issue with London, even if I really like the talent, the passing volume is going to be very low in that offense. Cole says, which 3? Pollard, Akers, Javonte, and Jamal. Okay, we're going to go ahead. We will go Jamal for one of these, Pollard for the other. And then the last spot between Javonte and Akers, if you would have asked me yesterday, I would have told you Javonte. But now that we are getting an additional report coming out saying that Javonte is now going to be on a snap count, after Peyton told us he was going to be fully good to go on Thursday, I don't know why he's changed his mind. I don't know why he's changing what he's saying. I think we change our call. I think now we go Cam Akers over Javonte. Will says, yo, Mason, should I do Kittle, Devonta Smith, JSN for Wilson and Dallas Goedert? Kittle to Goddard, lateral move. Devonta Smith and JSN for Garrett Wilson. Probably Wilson, depending on your format. Team would be Lawrence, Bijan Gibbs, Wilson, Olave, Ridley, Goddard. Love the videos. No, thank you so much, my man. Okay, so this looks like a 1 flex league. If it looks like a 1 flex league, ultimately, give me the best player at the end of the day. Give me the best player in the deal. And for that reason, I'll go ahead. I'll take Garrett Wilson here, my man. Now, Kobe says 3 leagues, 3 start/bench options. PBR for the flex, Rachaad White, Najee Harris, Khalil Herbert, Tyler Lockett. If we only get one choice here, I think that we are going to go ahead. We will take Najee Harris. It's the worst matchup, but he has the most guaranteed volume out of these guys. And in a 14-team format, we need 1 running back, 2 in a flex between Jamal, Khalil Herbert, DeAndre Hopkins. In a full PPR format, we're going to go Jamal and DeAndre Hopkins. A little bit less excited about Hopkins, knowing that Treylon Burks is 100% good to go, though. 10-team map PPR format, we have Walker, Stevenson, White. Thanks, Beast. No, thank you so much, my man. I think we will go ahead and we'll take Ramondre Stevenson if he's good to go. Obviously, this is going to be something we have to continue to monitor. The backup call, if we can't get to Stevenson, will be Kenneth Walker. Yeah, so let's go Stevenson 1, Walker 2. Don't look at White in those options. Max coming out says, with Watson going down, my bench is full of rookies. Not ideal, I know. Who should we start between JSN and Zay Flowers? Let me see. Does Underdog have a Flowers pick him up? I doubt it with the uncertainty of Mark Andrews. I know they had JSN at 32.5 receiving yards. It's just so hard to know what to expect from these rookies with their role in the short term that I really do like at least having a baseline of what we can expect possibly with the passing volume in this offense. Yeah, so they don't even have a Flowers one up. God, what do we want to do? I guess if you would have, you could ask me this 100 times, my man, and I may give you 50 answers for JSN, 50 answers for Zay Flowers. I guess with Flowers, you never had to question if he was going to be good to go or not, like you did with JSN. Flowers hasn't been dealing with an injury all preseason. Flowers should be an high scoring game overall. Let's go ahead. Let's take Zay Flowers. It's a very tough call. And my man, I fully acknowledge the fact that I could be horribly, horribly wrong here. Now, Margo says Mostert or Connor. We have to go with Mostert. Not even close. Not even close. Cooper says trade away Diggs and Debo for Garrett Wilson and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Going from Diggs to Amon-Ra St. Brown, slight downgrade. I'm going from Debo to Garrett Wilson, massive upgrade. I would make this deal, my friend. Judd coming out and says, PBR, 12-team, 3 wide receivers, 2 flexes. Really hope we built around wide receiver in this format. Current tight ends Kincaid, but Higbee is available. Are there any of the following you would drop to pick up Higbee? Algier, Bigsby, Dobbs, Flowers, Richardson. Love the content. Keep it up. Thank you so much, my man. Obviously, the ideal would be to go through and make a 2-for-1 deal, open up a spot down there in the bottom end of the bench, and then just be able to pick up Tyler Higbee for free without having to cut any of these players. I 100% want to be rostering 2 tight ends if Dalton Kincaid's our first guy. Really don't feel comfortable starting a rookie tight end week 1, especially if Higbee's available out there, where Higbee's going to get a tremendous amount of volume. I don't want to be dropping either of the running backs that could step into 3-down roles if an injury were to occur in front of him. So I'm probably going to be looking to keep Tank Bigsby, probably going to be looking to keep Tyler Algier here as well. Obviously, I don't want to drop either of the rookies that have a lot of upside. I hate to say it because of the Christian Watson injury, which is why then we could possibly use him as trade bait and get a slight upgrade somewhere else in the starting lineup. I probably, for this team in particular, prefer having Tyler Higbee over Romeo Doubs. You know what? You can't do it. Not in a league where you can start up to 5 wide receivers. I think you sit on your hands, try to make a 2-for-1 deal if we can. Jeremiah says, do I start Pittman or Ayuk for the flex? We're going to go ahead. We will take Brandon Ayuk, even if it should be a very low-scoring game overall. A1 the Great coming out says, it's Tank Bigsby in that trade scenario. Oh, yeah, okay. In that case, makes a lot more sense. Like we were saying, I mean, Tank Dell just not worth nearly as much as Bigsby. Doesn't have nearly the ceiling. Now, All-Stars coming out says, Mason, thank you for streaming. No, my man, always be live. And quick side note, if you're watching this now, I'm going to be live tomorrow morning, as we always are, but a big change this year. And if y'all like it, I'll keep doing it. If you don't like it, no worries. I can stop. But I'm going to be live streaming during the games and hosting a Red Zone Fantasy Football watch party. And let me get a realistic sense on if y'all want this or not. Can everybody spam the chat? If I live stream tomorrow for about the first 3 hours, like 1 p.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern, would y'all want to hang out in the live chat, like hear me talk in the background? Please let me know in the live chat. Is that something that you would be interested in? Yes or no? Okay, Justin coming out says W. Yeah. And then honestly, if you don't want it, please let me know as well. Even if, like, I completely understand going, Mason, come on, man. I don't want you to hear your audio ruining my football Sunday. Trust me, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I will completely understand. Okay. Looks like a lot of people actually like it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and we will make sure that we are doing that, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, 16-team league where we only have to start 1 running back, but we can start up to 4 wide receivers. Thoughts on the format? Don't want it to be miserable for people, but still fun. And what is your draft strategy? I actually really like how you set this up. If it's going to be like a more serious fantasy football league with some diehard people that maybe play Dynasty and everything, then there you probably should still have 2 starting running backs. I mean, you probably should have deeper benches. But just if it's going to be for more so a casual fantasy football experience where you want to have some fun, you want to relax, I do think it's a solid format overall. I mean, I typically would want to go ahead and build around a hero RB approach. If you could go like Bijan Robinson and then slam wide receivers after, I think it'd make a lot of sense. But you also have to read the room on QB. If you really wanted to, like, if a lot of these people aren't like super diehard fantasy football, my man, one thing you can do also is change the quarterback to a super flex, where in that slot, people could play a running back wide receiver if they really wanted to, just in case they can't pick up a backup quarterback for like a bye week or an injury. Now, the Rock Show coming out says, Happy BR, my top receivers are Jefferson, Christian Watson. Who to use instead of Watson? We have Elijah, Juju, and Jerry Jeudy. We could also pick up Mingo, Mims, Van Jefferson, or Quentin Johnston. I think we go plan A, Jerry Jeudy, if Jerry Jeudy were to play. I mean, Jerry Jeudy has been limited all week, still questionable for this game. I think plan B we are going to have will be Van Jefferson. Full transparency, not a super big guy going with Jefferson. If we wanted to take him, we would be dropping Juju Smith-Schuster for him. Okay. Will says, Tim T BBR1 flex. Who are we putting in the flex spot? Raheem Mostert, Deontay Johnson, or Mike Evans? We're going to go Mostert. Like, I was too low on him in our rankings, and I'll be the first person to admit that. If you look at like the underdog projections for him this week, it looks like he is a must-start guy. I mean, we knew that the Vegas totals had this game as one of the highest scoring games of the week, but they have him at 82.5 total yards. This is like the Nick Chubb range. Like, this is in a absurd group of running backs to be grouped with. So I think we are going to go ahead. We're going to take Mostert there. Morgan says, start one in the flex. JSN, Collins, Hodgins, Zach Charbonnet. Oh, gross. I'll go JSN, even if typically we want to be avoiding rookie wide receivers until they break out. Big Route coming out says Dobbins or Mike Williams in the flex. I hate this question as well. Like we were saying, in this game, supposed to be a high scoring contest. I mean, if you're looking at the pick'em that you have for Mike Williams, Williams currently at 58.5 receiving yards, 9.6 fantasy points overall. If we're going over to what we have with J.K. Dobbins gonna be in a similar range, I believe. Keep in mind, this is for a half PPR format, so you give a bump up to Mike Williams a little bit in these projections compared to a full PPR league, which you are playing in, of course. But instead of having Dobbins at 9.6 total fantasy points this week, they're currently sitting with J.K. Dobbins at 11.6. But like I said, with the full PPR aspect, it's much, much closer. I think you go Dobbins if you're looking for a high floor, Mike Williams if you're looking for a high ceiling. Now, JD Martin says 10-team PPR, thoughts on the team and who to flex. We have Geno Daniel Jones at quarterback. Running back, we have Mixon, White, Dalvin, Herbert. Wide receiver, we have Chase, St. Brown, Watson, Juju. Tight end, we have Njoku. Appreciate all the streams. Thank you so much, my man. In a 10-team league, I don't like it as much as if it would have been a 12-team format, but still having Chase and Amon-Ra St. Brown, especially with St. Brown starts us off strong on Thursday, does look pretty damn nice. I think we're going to start the lineup as Mixon, White at RB. Mixon, Khalil Herbert at running back. Wide receiver, we're going to go Chase and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then for that flex spot, we will go ahead and we will play Rachaad White, my friend. Tommy in here says week 1, baby. Hell yes, my man. I'm in a start 3 wide receiver 1 flex league. We have Josh Allen, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, London, Godwin, Njoku, Javonte, Pacheco, Dalvin, Lazard, Penny, Harris, Laporta, Shaheed, Chark. How do we upgrade our running back room? So if we're going to be submitting a starting lineup from here, wide receiver, we have Tyreek, Waddle, London. Our flex, we have Chris Godwin. We don't really have any expendable wide receivers out of that. So I understand the thought process here, my man, in thinking that maybe we need to go ahead, maybe we need to go through and look to upgrade running back, because I agree with you, running back looks gross. Like, we really don't know if we have anything with any of these guys. They all have upside, but they all have very low floors as well. I hate to say this, my man. You know, generally I try to find a way to help every single time, but I think the most realistic thing that we do here is we wait until after week 1, because this is a league where we can start 4 wide receivers. We can get all these wide receivers in our lineup, and that's probably something we want to be doing in a full PPR format in particular. So I would rather wait until after week 1 to see what we have from Javonte, to see what we have from Dalvin, to see what we have from Penny, to see what we have from Damian Harris, to see what their respective roles are. Of course, if we could take Sam Laporta in one of these running backs and go trade to get an RB upgrade, that'd be really nice, but I don't necessarily know if that's something that we can do. It's going to be much easier said than done. So I think really the answer to this question is we sit on our hands and we wait to see what we have. I know it's a horrible answer. I'm very sorry to give you a crappy answer like that, my man. But I think as of Saturday night, week 1, it's probably the correct one. Now, Adrian says, should I trade Barkley, Debo, Waddle, London as well for CMC, DJ Moore, Pittman, Michael Thomas? We have Ridley at wide receiver and Bijan Robinson as well. So going from Barkley to CMC is going to be an upgrade. Debo to DJ Moore, downgrade. Waddle to Pittman, downgrade. Drake London to Thomas, downgrade. No, we're not going to look to do this, my man. I mean, if instead we could potentially go ahead and sell Barkley and Debo and then go get CMC, DJ Moore, or CMC and Michael Thomas, then that's a trade that we can make. I don't want to be moving down and downgrading essentially at 3 wide receiver spots just to upgrade from Barkley to CMC. Presley says trade Mike Williams and Juju for DK. Yes, I would, but I'm not going to be surprised if Williams is actually better than DK this week based off of how good his matchup and game environment is. Otropic says full PPR. We have Addison, Hall, Mingo, Mims, Bateman. We are going to go ahead. We will be starting Breece Hall here, my man. Looked like he did practice in full. Looks like he is good to go. Now, with that being said, I will be honest with you. I mean, should be a little bit nerve-wracking to start Breece Hall, obviously, with everything up in the air, but still, at the end of the day, these other guys are just essentially rookie wide receivers. Mega Alpha Supreme says, Van or Zay Flowers PPR. So pumped for tomorrow, as am I, my man. And the majority of cases, I will be telling people to go ahead and to pivot off of Van Jefferson. And like we said, it's never that appealing to start a backup wide receiver when they step up into a role with the starter going down, as it is RB. But also, I don't know what exactly we should be expecting from these rookie wide receivers week one. So let's take Van. Let's take Van. Daniel says 12 team PPR for the flex spot. We have Deontay Johnson. On the bench, we have London, Dotson, and Jonathan Domingo, who are we flexing. If you would have asked this before Terry McLaurin was fully cleared and good to go, I would have said Jahan Dotson. Now I think Dotson is going to be much harder to go with. I mean, it's going to come down to Drake London versus Deontay Johnson. I'd probably go with London, just given how bad the matchup is for Deontay going up against the 49ers. Let's look at all their underdog pick'ems. Yeah, so they have Sam Howell at 211 passing yards. I do like the more than there. We have Dotson only at 43.5 receiving yards. I do like the more than, but still, as a baseline projection, I mean, it's probably hard to go in that direction. If we are looking at Drake London, I believe he's going to be up here. God dang, Alabama just had the luckiest play I've ever seen in my entire life. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me, Texas? You got to do me like that. You got to do me like that. Oh, there's a flag. Thank God. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Nerve-wracking. I can't even find the London pick 'em. Last time we saw it was at 52.5 receiving yards. Mingo, not interesting, not starting a rookie wide receiver. I think we do go Drake London. A really tough matchup against for the 49ers against Deontay Johnson. Okay. So Andres coming out with a donation. Thank you, my man. And Magsy says, grab Fields for Zay and Alvin. Deep bench for a redraft. I would take Justin Fields there if we don't have a quarterback that we're excited about. I would. Now, Logan says 10-team PPR. We have Higgins and Henry or Pollard and Ridley. Full PPR format, I'm going to go Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley. Non-PPR, we would go Derrick Henry. Andres says 2 running backs to start out of Dobbins, Bijan, Jackson, or Jay Williams. We're easily going to go Dobbins and Bijan. I mean, hell, at the end of the day, Bijan is a must-start running back almost regardless. And Dobbins is in a great matchup against the Houston Texans. They're 10-point favorites. Joseph says start Jamal, James Conner, or Mostert in the flex. If you would have asked me previously, I would have told you, Jamal Williams. But I think the correct answer should be Mostert, just given how many points should be scored in this game. Going back to what we were talking about previously, ladies and gentlemen, like if we look at the expected points this week from these guys, if you look at the Miami Dolphins game in general, everybody is sky high with their projections. Raheem Mostert right now is going to be sitting at, I believe, 82.5 total yards, which is, like I said, up there with the Nick Chubbs of the world. Yeah, they have him at 82.5 total yards. Whereas if you're looking at Jamal Williams, where can we find you, Jamal? I know Jamal was significantly lower than this in this game. Even if Jamal maybe has a little more touchdown upside. Yeah, they have Jamal at 65.5. So I think maybe we have to reevaluate our call that we were making earlier in the week. I think Mostert's probably the right way to go. Cole says 10-team 3-wide receiver league. Which wide receivers can we trade up for? We have Hopkins, Mike Williams, DJ Moore, Pickens, and JSN. I would love if we could go out there and package together like DJ Moore and George Pickens to get up to the wide receiver in the Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave tier. I think that'd be the most exciting thing to look for, my man. But really, all these wide receivers are interchangeable. I think they're all in about the same tier. So we're going to be looking at the Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave tier and package together 2 of any of these players. Cooper says trade away Diggs and Debo for Garrett Wilson and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think we already answered this, my man, but we would go Garrett Wilson and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think the upgrade we get from Debo to Amon-Ra is going to be larger than the downgrade we get from Diggs to Wilson. Mo says, Komet, Everett, Ferguson, or should we wait for Darren Waller? Interesting, my friend. We're going to wait for Darren Waller. The reason being is Ferguson is going to be playing in that Sunday night game as well. So if Darren Waller isn't going to go, we have someone we can pivot to. Now, Mega Alpha Supreme coming out says, pick a running back and a flex. PBR League, we have Pierce, Madison, Evans, Mostert. We're going to be going with Alexander Madison and Raheem Mostert, my man. We're going to go with the guaranteed volume. No way you can sit Pierce, the highest pick of any of these week one, right? I think you can. Going back to what we were talking about, it is a brutal matchup against the Baltimore Ravens, where, I mean, Dameon Pierce is a 10-point dog. If you would have asked me earlier in the week, I would have said to pick Dameon Pierce over Raheem Mostert, but, I mean, let's go through and we'll do this one more time, ladies and gentlemen. But you look at the Raheem Mostert pick 'em on Underdog right now. They have him at 82.5 total yards. If we go over and look at the expectations that there are with Dameon Pierce right now is sitting at 54.5 rushing yards, 73.5 total yards. Mostert's going to be the high scoring offense too, so he probably has more touchdown upside. So I hate to say it, I was too low on Mostert in our rankings this week. And I'm going to go through and I try to apologize and say, okay, yeah, let's fix this and tell people to start them where they can Sunday morning. But ladies and gentlemen, real quick, we are 5 likes away from hitting 500 likes on this live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream, help us hit 500, and throw a hook 'em horns up in the chat while you're at it. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, it's not going to be too late. You can find that link in the live chat. You can find it in the description. You can find it in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK on Underdog is going to give you a 100% deposit match up to $200. Our 2023 fantasy football rankings. And y'all know the majority of y'all got to take advantage of the Patrick Mahomes special, more than less than half a passing yard against the Lions Thursday night. Well, everybody go back to the app because there's another special pick'em Sunday night, more than less than half a total yard for Saquon Barkley. I have no idea what the hell is happening. I guess it's just because week one for Underdog's giving all these away. Because also, if you use promo code FLOCK, you're going to get an additional special pick'em, more than less than half a passing yard against the New York Giants for Josh Allen. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, you're going to get an additional mystery special pick'em. I've never seen Underdog do anything like this before, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure you go out there and take advantage while you can. Now, we are going to have to read off 2 donations that we can't pull up on the stream right now, but I promise you we're not going to miss any. Christian Jackson coming out with our next question says, wanted to share this team for a laugh. 103, 18 PBR double flex, 6-point rushing touchdown, 4-point pass, $300 first place prize. Fields, definitely prefer Fields in a 4-point passing touchdown format. Chubb, Etienne, Jefferson, Amon-Ra Hawkinson, Walker Williams. Oh my, San Francisco defense. 101 pick was DK. Oh my man. Yeah, if you're going up against people who are going to take DK Metcalf 101. If you don't win, you got an issue. All right. If you don't have a monstrous team, that's a problem. A great team, my friend. Michael says Dotson or Brian Robinson in the flex. We will go ahead and we will take Brian Robinson, my friend. I think the game environment makes a little bit more sense for Washington to be running the ball in the second half. Nick says for the flex, we're going to go Sutton or Brian Robinson. We're going to go Brian Robinson, regardless if Judy's good to go. Z Novak's coming out says 14-team PBR 1 flex. We have Burrow at quarterback. Running back, we have White, Dobbins. Wide receiver, Chase, Waddle. Goddard at tight end. Sky, Cousins, Gallup, Schultz, Ford, MVS. Any suggestions? 14-team league. Really can't be cutting any of these guys down there on the bench just because they're not going to be better options off the waiver wire. We have the Burrow, Chase, stack. You love to see it. We have Waddle there as well. We have Goddard as a capable tight end. We have running backs with upside. There's nothing I'm changing as of now. The only thing is I'm definitely going to be trying to be active on the waiver wire to see if we can bring in additional running backs that we are excited about in the long term. Now, David coming out says Raheem Mostert, John Dotson, or Tyler Lockett for the flex spot. We're going to go ahead and we will be playing Raheem Mostert here, my friend. Like we said, the guaranteed volume, super high scoring game. You have touchdown upside. He looks like a must-start guy at this point. I was too low on him in our rankings this week, which I apologize for. We're going to make that right. Please go ahead and start him where you can. Cole says, lost Watson this week. Do we go with Dotson, Flowers, or Gabe Davis? Also, we need one running back between Kenneth Walker or J.K. Dobbins. Thanks. So thank you so much, my man. Walker Dobbins would have been a tough call at the beginning of the week. Now that Kenneth Walker did pop up with, potentially something we need to worry about today, I'm not going to be that concerned about it, but we will use it as a tiebreaker to go with J.K. Dobbins, who's just in a great matchup. And then wide receiver between Dotson, Flowers, and Gabe Davis. Even if we're less excited about Dotson now that McLaurin's playing, we're still going to go Jahan Dotson here, my friend. Now, our next question coming up from Harrison says, 12-team happy BR format. We have Lawrence at QB. Wide receiver, we have Diggs, Cup. Running back, we have Madison, Dillon. Kittle, tight ends. We have Dion, Odell, JSN, Nico, and JT. It's a team where we only have to have one flex. Who do we start and what moves are we going to make? So wide receiver, we're going to be going with Diggs and I guess Odell Beckham Jr. Running back, we're going to be going with Madison and Deion Jackson. Quarterback, we're going to go Lawrence. Tight end, we're going to go Kittle. And for the flex, I guess we're going to go A.J. Dillon, my man. And if you look at how gross this starting lineup is in the short term, we can wait for the long-term upside of one of Cooper Kupp, one of Jonathan Taylor. But even if they both come back week 5 and crush it, the team's going to start off 1-3 if we don't make any moves. So I'd say this is a league where you probably have to go through and sell low on one of Jonathan Taylor or Cooper Kupp before hopefully tomorrow. Michael says Pitts or Everett at tight end for week 1. We're definitely going to go Pitts, my friend. DeJohn says, would you flex JSN or Kincaid? 14-team format. Don't really want to start rookie wide receivers or tight ends week 1 until we actually see their role and see their production. Definitely going to go JSN, way better prospect. Also, typically we know rookie wide receivers will produce before rookie tight ends. Now, Juan says, do you trust McLaurin in the flex this week? Other options are Addison, Dillon, Algier, Mitchell, or Dobbs. Keep killing it, my man. No, thank you so much, my friend. I do not trust Terry McLaurin in the flex. I would rather see him before we believe him with the turf toe. But with that being said, out of these options, he will be the best, and we'll go ahead and play him in a good matchup. The Whirling Dervish coming out says, early keeper auction league. We have Burrow at quarterback. Running back, we have Bijan. Wide receiver, we have Hopkins, Garrett Wilson. We have Kincaid at tight end. We also have JT, Kupp, Kamara with fillers until week 5. Odds I make the playoffs. It would be a phenomenal team week 5 and on. Going back to what we were talking about previously with that other team we are looking at, we can get away with going through and rostering one of Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp. But to have Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp, and Alvin Kamara all on the same team, it's going to be very difficult to get away with that, my friend. Where I actually would be going ahead and I would be seeing if we can get something for one of these guys. I don't know what we're going to get, but I think this is probably where you're forced to sell low on these players. Let's move this over. Next question coming out from Sam says, Happy BR, Akers or Higgins? Greetings from Germany. Greetings, my man. Definitely going to go with T. Higgins over Cam Akers. Just a much better offensive environment overall in Cincinnati. Eat more chicken. Long time. Remember the vlog says, football's back, baby. Just wanted to say thanks for all the help over the years, bro. Still waiting on the Chick-fil-A Flog Fantasy in Ideal, my man. You better believe we got something in the works, all right? And if you are watching this and you are a representative of Chick-fil-A, your boy loves you. He would love a sponsorship. I'll eat a Chick-fil-A sandwich every single night on this live stream. That's what it takes. Mina Norris says, thoughts on a 10-team PPR format where we have Burrow, Pollard, Walker, Hill, Ridley, Hawkinson, Watson. And then on the bench, we have Pickens, Dotson, Gibson, Charbonnet, Deuce, Devon Achane, and Dalton Kincaid. I like that we're focusing in on high upside players down there on the bench. I will say, obviously, we're not going to be able to start Christian Watson this week, so we are going to be forced to go ahead, and we're going to be forced to put Jahan Dotson in there over Christian Watson. Steven says, full BBR, Evans or Deontay, or maybe Raheem Mostert. We're going to go Raheem Mostert. I was too low on the rankings in the videos this week. Please, everybody, make sure he's in your starting lineup. Nicholas out again says, a full BBR, second and one flex. Who are we going to go with? James Conner, Khalil Herbert, Brian Robinson, James Cook. Appreciate the hard work. No, thank you so much, my man. Okay, so start 2 and 1 in the flex. Brian Robinson, based on the matchup, will be a must-start guy. James Conner, based on the overall offense, will be someone that I'm definitely looking to avoid. Tough spot to be in. I probably do end up going Brian Robinson and James Conner, but by no means am I excited about it. I think you go Brian Robinson and James Conner. Heisenberg says 12-team PPR format. We need a tight end. Thoughts on Musgrave this week, and also start Pierce or Herbert. Hate the matchup for Pierce. We are going to go ahead. We're going to start Pierce though. And then honestly, I think that we are going to go ahead and start Musgrave if we have to, just because there's nobody else in this offense. I would definitely look to avoid it if we can. I would look to avoid it if we can. But let me skip ahead because I see we have a massive dono coming out from Mako. My man, thank you so much for being a member of the flock, saying, "What's up, Mason? Longtime fan. Just letting you know I shot you an email under the name Xander about a possible venture you may be interested in, and I'm eager to hear back. Would love to open a conversation with you directly. Looking forward to it." Thank you so much, my man. Definitely will look out for that email. Let me see if we can pull that up and find that now. Don't see anything right now. I will look for it. Be completely honest with you, I haven't been really accepting any meetings over the past 2 weeks just because I am live streaming for like 24 hours a day at this point, it seems. So it's very, very difficult for me to find any time. I am working like possibly 80 hours a week right now, but we'll be super happy to check that out, and hopefully we can make something work, my man. But we are going to be having to bounce and answer a couple of these questions without them popping up on the screen, so I do apologize for that. But I believe our next question coming out from A1 the Great, who says, "I would be trading Bigsby, Zach Charbonnet, AJ Dillon for Hollywood and Godwin. I still have Devon Chain, Gainwell, Roschon on the bench, Egler, JK Mixon as the starters." I'm okay with it. I just would rather have one high upside wide receiver in return. I agree giving up a lot of running backs that don't have roles right now for, some wide receivers that are just mid-tier options that really are going to have a hard time being league winners. They're just going to, kind of be fill-in wide receiver twos. So it's just typically not the prototype that I would look for. I think we can make the deal if you turn around and parlay for this team where we're already loaded, like Chris Godwin and Hollywood Brown, and go get someone like Calvin Ridley. Now, I'm Gucci Upolo coming out saying, 10-team PPR format. Having to start Deontay in place of Watson. Is it a bad idea to also start Freiermuth against the 49ers defense, or do we start Cole Kmet? I understand the thought process. Should be a very bad matchup and a very bad game environment overall for these Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm still going to go Freiermuth because, if you look at the passing volume projection right now that you have for the Chicago Bears, there's supposed to be barely any pass attempts for Justin Fields. It will be nasty overall. But ladies and gentlemen, real quick, we are one like away from hitting 600 likes on this stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Help us hit 600. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, it's not too late. You can still find the link in the live chat in the description in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, they have a site-wide special. Saquon Barkley, more than less than half a total yard against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night. If you use promo code FLOCK, you're going to get an additional mystery special pick'em. And if you use promo code FLOCK, you're going to get an exclusive Josh Allen special pick'em, more than less than half a passing yard against the New York Jets on Monday night. Never seen Underdog have anything like this before. So please make sure y'all are taking advantage, because I promise you it's not going to be like this every week. Now, our next question coming out from Ronfi says, full BBR, I need to Javonte, Rashad White, and Deion Jackson. Probably going to go Javonte Williams and Rashad White, even if we're not too excited about it. Deion Jackson, really tough to trust the Colts running back at this point. Sawyer says, hey, Mason, need help with the start sits this week. Running backs are Javonte, Pirine, Walker, Dillon. Wide receivers are Chase, Waddle, Williams, Sutton, and Brandon Ayuk. Running backs, we're going to go with Kenneth Walker and Javonte Williams. Wide receiver, we're going to go with Chase and Jalen Waddle. And for the flex spot, we are going to go ahead and we're going to take Mike Williams, my man. If it's a league where you have 2 flexes, that second flex will be Courtland Sutton if Jerry Jeudy does not play. It'll be Brandon Ayuk if Courtland Sutton does, it'll be Brandon Ayuk if Jerry Jeudy does play. Okay. So now, please, Brian coming out says Andrews or Higbee for tomorrow. You're definitely going to go Andrews, my man. Andrews is good to go. You played Mark Andrews. It plays at noon, so we should get that clarity soon. Rob says pick 2, Breece, JSN, Jaden Reed, or Zay Jones. And then also Russ or Jordan Love. Oh, my gosh. We are going to go Russ over Jordan Love. Very tough to rely on either player with their wide receiver rooms being decimated. And then for the first call, we will be going with Breece Hall and JSN, my man. I'm not going Jaden Reed, even with no Christian Watson. Like I said, wide receiver points are earned, not given, as they are at running back. JD Mart says, second league, thoughts/flex. Happy BR. Quarterback, we have Lamar. Running back, we have Aaron Jones, Saquon, Montgomery, Pierce, Elijah Mitchell. Wide receiver, we have Diggs, London, Kirk, Deontay, JSN. Tight end, we have Freiermuth and Higbee. Thanks again. No, thank you, my man. Running back, we will be going Saquon Barkley. Don't know if we started Montgomery or not. Probably Saquon and Aaron Jones. Jones going to crush it. Wide receiver, we're going to be going with Diggs and Drake London. For the tight end, we're going to go Pat Freiermuth. And then for the flex, I'm assuming maybe we already started David Montgomery. If not, then at that point, if Montgomery's not an option, we will be going with Dameon Pierce, my friend. Okay. Keith says, should we start Andrews or hit the waivers? If Andrews is good to go, you're going to go ahead and you're going to start Mark Andrews. As of right now, we don't know with the quad. He did practice all week, but he is still limited. What's nice is, like we said, he plays tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. So if he's ruled out, we'll have a ton of options on the waiver wire tomorrow morning. Shamil coming out, long-time member of the vlog, says, rate it, 10-team league. Mahomes, Bijan, Jacobs, Keenan, Moore, Hawkinson, Dobbins. The bench is Charbonnet, Montgomery. Oh, this is a great team, my man. The only thing I would say is you're getting suckered into Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds is a sucker play. It's us getting excited that football is here. Us getting excited that we get to go out there and see something week 1. At the end of the day, Reynolds doesn't really have any upside. I'm looking to roster someone with a lot of upside at that very last spot. So, yeah, drop Josh Reynolds. Go pick up another running back off the waiver wire, but great team. Now, Wavy TV says, Dalvin or Javonte in the flex. Thanks, Bruno. Thank you, my man. It is tough. Breece Hall is back and practicing. Breece Hall will be good to go on Monday. If you're looking at Javonte Williams, we were told earlier in the week that he's going to have a full workload. Then we were told today that he is going to be on a snap count. So now that he's going to be on a snap count, I think that we actually have to go ahead. I think we actually probably have to take Dalvin Cook, my man. Tough spot. Eric says, happy BR 12-team league. We have Diggs, Ridley at wide receiver with Amari in the flex, Scary Terry, Pittman, Singletary on the bench. What are your thoughts? I 100% agree. It's exactly how we keep it. Obviously, we like the long-term upside of maybe someone like Scary Terry or Michael Pittman. There's no reason to just risk it right now when one has the rookie quarterback. The other guy's coming off a turf toe. So, yeah, then we wait, see the production. Then at that point, we can potentially get them in the starting lineup. And if not, when we have this much depth, we'd always look to go ahead and see if we can package together, say, Terry McLaurin in like an RB2 and go get a running back 2 upgrade in the starting lineup. Now, our next question coming out from Tony says, happy BR, are we going to go Van or Hollywood at the flex spot? What's tough is we don't even know if Hollywood's going to go. Hollywood's dealing with the hamstring. If Hollywood is good to go, you have to go Hollywood Brown over Van Jefferson. If he's not, we go Van. I just do not like that, my friend. Chico says, with Stevenson ill, should I swap him out for Jamal? Happy PR. It sounds like Stevenson is going to be good to go, and I think we are still going to continue to go through and play Ramondre Stevenson. Maybe in a non-PPR format, we could be pivoting over to Jamal. But I don't think like someone's sick, then plays, and they're like, okay, you're only going to play 30% of the snaps now, you know? It's not like he's dealing with a soft tissue injury. It's not like he's dealing with a hamstring. He either plays or he doesn't. Now, Holy Brown says, yo, Elijah Moore or Sutton in the flex in a 12-team PPR format. We are going to go ahead. We are going to take Courtland Sutton over Elijah Moore, even if Jerry Jeudy were to play, because we can assume that, And maybe you have Cortland Sutton get a bump up with a limited Jerry Jeudy coming off the hamstring. And with Elijah Moore, he has no shot to be the wide receiver one in this offense. But J-Mac, I accidentally lost your question. Can you please let me know in the live chat? Of course, don't feel like you have to donate. But J-Mac, let me know what your question is, please. Please. And our next question coming out from Lakers Niners says, want to sit Breece week 1, but my other pivots would be Gus, Bigsby, or Romeo Doubs. Would prefer Breece, but afraid of usage this week. I'm 100% with you. I'm afraid of usage. But if we weren't afraid of usage, you'd be a top 5 running back, you know? So that is kind of priced in. He will be like an RB3. I think you still have to go ahead and play him ahead of because the thing is, what's the usage of Gus Edwards? Clear backup running back. What's the usage of Tank Bigsby? Clear backup running back. So we're going to start someone that we know for sure is a backup running back because we're afraid that possibly Breece is. So yeah, you got to start him. You got to start him. And let me see in the live chat if we can find J-Mac's question here. Still waiting for J-Mac's question, my man. Please let me know what it is. And Obele says, PBR, Brian Robinson, or Akers in the flex. Projections say Cam Akers. If you go through, if you look at what they have right now on these underdog pick'ems, right now they have Brian Robinson currently sitting at, 9.5 fantasy points. Whereas if you go down to Cam Akers, they have Akers at a very, very aggressive mark that I do not agree with. I'll definitely say that. And I would be looking to take the fewer than, but still these projections know more than I do. And they currently have Akers at 84.5 total yards. This is one of the very rare instances that I'm willing to say I'm going to ignore the projections. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the player that I believe to be in the better offense. I'm going to take the player that I believe to be in the much better matchup. I will be going Brian Robinson over Cam Akers. Okay. Now, Sad Frog says, Ayuk or Drake London, wide receiver 2. We are going to go ahead. We will be taking Drake London here, my friend. Now, Big Wave Dave coming out saying, 12-team full PPR. We have Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Tyreek, DJ Moore, Christian Watson. And then on the bench, we have James Cook, Devon Achane, DeAndre Swift, Treylon Burks. We got offered DJ and David Montgomery for Gibbs and Addison. Thoughts and hook 'em. Hook 'em Orange, my man. We're doing well right now. Hopefully we're able to keep this up. And they just had a big play. But nonetheless, if we are looking at this, you have to keep Jahmyr Gibbs. I understand the thought process. We want to overreact week 1, right? But ultimately, it is the first week of his NFL career. This is a full PPR format where we are going to get the majority of his production through the air, where we know that's his role, and David Montgomery is going to be the first and second down option. So I think you honestly need to go ahead. You need to continue to bet on Gibbs in a full PPR format. I don't want to be going through and selling low on him after week 1. But our next question coming out from Keith says, PPR, Evans or Deontay? We're definitely going to go Evans. Super tough matchup for Deontay Johnson. And J-Max says, I'm in need of a running back too. We have Fields, Bijan, Javonte, Wilson, Ridley, Kittle, Godwin, Laporta, Charbonnet, Elijah Mitchell, Burks, Sky. Who should we trade for, and who should we be using as bargaining chips? We do nothing right now. And I hate to give you this answer, but ultimately, tomorrow we have games. Tomorrow we are going to get a realistic idea of the roles of these players and what we can be expecting this season. So if we were to just wait 2 days, we're going to be able to see what the exact role is for Javonte Williams. We'll have a much better idea overall of what we can expect with our true running back needs here and the trades that we are looking to make. The only thing that we would want to do is potentially go out, drop Sky Moore, pick up a running back off the waiver wire in case an injury occurs to the player in front of him here. That way we can be in a spot where we can potentially solve the running back situation without having to go through and make a trade. But don't do anything right now. I hate to give you that answer, my friend. Rick says, start Kittle if good. Yes, sir, I will. And pick 2, Swift, Zay, Van, or Gabe. I'm personally going to go ahead and go Swift and Gabe Davis, the 2 players in the best offenses, my friend. Now, I Shine coming out. Appreciate you, my man. This question saying, Sup Flock, 10-team full BBR. Who should we start in the flex? Raheem Mostert, Jahan Dotson, Sutton, or Khalil Herbert? We're going to go Mostert for sure. We started Gibbs as our running back 2 and let Montgomery on the bench. Stevenson is our running back 1. First off, really appreciate you, my man. And you know I am rooting for you this week. Second off, if you look at the pick'em that they have for Raheem Mostert, look at the projection this next week. I mean, Vegas has this as a super high scoring game. Underdog right now has Raheem Mostert at 82.5 total yards. I mean, if you compare that to like Joe Mixon, they have Mixon at 85.5 total yards. Like they have Mostert in the Mixon range. So, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, I think that we want to go ahead. I think we have to start him. He has the guaranteed volume. He's in a very high scoring game. He has touchdown upside as well. So go ahead and get Raheem Mostert in here. But ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from hitting 700 likes in the stream. So please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, it is not too late. Make sure you go over to Underdog and get this ASAP. Saquon Barkley special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys. On top of this, ladies and gentlemen, if you use promo code FLOCK, you're going to get an additional mystery special pick'em and an exclusive Josh Allen special pick'em. We've been talking about it a lot because I've never seen anything like it before. Don't think it's going to happen every single week. Please make sure you go take advantage ASAP. And yeah, I mean, use promo code FLOCK. You're going to get all 3 plus 100% deposit match plus our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial of theflockfantasy.com. But Crabfishing coming out says, pick 2, Dotson, Gibson, Brandon Cooks. And also we're going to go with the Jags or Saints DST. I'll probably go with the Jags DST going up against the rookie quarterback. And we're going to be going with Dotson and Gibson in a very good matchup, my friend. Okay. Now, Gino Got Bands coming out says, any trades to upgrade the squad in a 12-team PPR format where we have Rodgers at quarterback, running back, we have CMC, Walker, we have Hawkinson at tight end, Higgins, Olave, Madison, Deontay, Dion, Jordan. Okay, we have so much depth here overall, my man. We can afford a better quarterback. I think we package together, say, Deontay Johnson and Aaron Rodgers. Go get Justin Fields. Go get Justin Herbert. Go get Joe Burrow. Go get a big 4 quarterback. But that's ultimately the move that we're looking to make. We have so much depth at running back and wide receiver. Please package a depth wide receiver with Rodgers to get a top 7 quarterback in fantasy, my friend. Now, DRB coming out says, is McLaurin and Kamara for Cooper Kupp good? I'm giving up McLaurin and Kamara, but also have Tyreek, Olave, Saquon, Gibbs. The other guys, Pittman, Kirk, starting with Judy on his bench. His running backs are Jacobs, Ramadre, Connor, and Jamal. So we're not going to get Kamara back until the Cup time frame anyway. We're essentially selling, I don't know. If we have Tyreek, Chris Olave, Saquon, Gibbs, we're good to go. Sure, we can sell this for Cooper Kupp. Obviously, we're taking on a risk. We understand that we are doing that at this time. But ultimately, if it's a 1 flex league where we can still get by if we lose this bet and Kupp doesn't really give us anything this season, let's go ahead and let's make that play, my man. Just because we're great already. Now, Mandorch coming out and says start 2 and as an RB2. 1 as an RB2 and a flex. Rachaad White, Jamal Williams, and John Dodds. We're going to go with both running backs, my friend. We're going to go Rachaad White and Jamal Williams. I would have told you Dotson earlier in the week, but now that you have McLaurin good to go, we have to pivot. Luke says, full BBR start Breece or Gibson. I will be going with Breece Hall. He did practice in full today. He looks like he will be good to go with no limitations. Okay, so now our next question. And real quick, let me skip ahead. We have another massive dono coming out. Oh my gosh. Thank you again saying, hey, I sent the email to your business inquiries email in the stream description on September 4th. Shot you an Instagram DM request on your personal account just now under Xander. Sorry for the misunderstanding. No, that's on me, my friend. We'll be happy to look at that. I am very sorry. And yes, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Of course, thank you so much for the support as well, my friend. Okay. But let's go ahead and let's find our next question. This one coming out from Luke's. No, we already answered Luke. This one coming out from James says, I got Lamar, Bijan, Pollard, Wilson, Ridley, Njoku, Mike Williams starting. On the bench, we have Mostert, Algier, Gibson, Charbonnet, Christian Kirk, Dotson, Christian Watson on the IR, and Juwan Johnson. What do you think? Any moves? Year 3 with the flock. Thanks, my Gino. Thank you so much, my man, for being with us for so damn long. This team's nutso. We have 3 round 1 picks with this team. We have Bijan, Pollard, Wilson, all round 1 selections. And now we have Lamar Jackson as well. It's a phenomenal team top to bottom. There are no moves that we're making in terms of trades right now. We're just kind of waiting until we get Christian Watson back and healthy. At that point, it would be really nice to see if we can package together a depth wide receiver with the tight end to go get a tight end upgrade. The only thing I'd say is in the immediate term, definitely make sure you're putting Raheem Mostert in the flex spot now over Mike Williams. I was too low on Mostert earlier in the week. Alex says, 10 team, start 3 wide receivers. We have Tua at quarterback. Wide receiver, we have Chase, Lamb, Olave, Hopkins, London, Addison. Running back, we have Ramondre, Pierce, Javonte, Khalil Herbert, Antonio Gibson, Zach Charbonnet, Dallas Goedert. Do we have a deal for a quarterback upgrade? And should we drop the New England defense for Washington? Hell yes. Go get Washington's defense ASAP to play the Cardinals. And I don't necessarily think we need to trade for a better quarterback, but we can afford to trade for a better quarterback. So yeah, if you wanted to trade Drake London and Tua to see if we can go out there and get a big 7 quarterback, right? Get someone like Mahomes, not happening. Allen, not happening. Hurts, not happening. Lamar, probably not happening. But if we can go down to like the Fields, Burrow, Herbert range, I think it make a lot of sense just because we have so much overall depth and it's a great team. Now, Crypto Raptor coming out says Lamar, Andrews, or Rodgers and Wilson for the... Oh, we're definitely going to go with Lamar and Andrews here. 6-point passing touchdown format would be a little bit closer, but 4-point passing touchdown league, we want Lamar. Peyton says, Dalvin or Judy in the flex. Thanks. No, thank you, my man. I'm not trusting Judy this week. Maybe I'm stupid to do so, but I mean, dealing with the hamstring injury, I know he looks like he will be good to go. I just don't know. Is this someone we really want to start? I'll go ahead. I'll just take Dalvin Cook. And now our next question coming out from Big Route says, drop Tyler Algier to pick up Tyler Higbee. We have Pat Frymuth. I think Higbee should be rostered. I don't want to drop Tyler Algier for him because the thing is, what can happen this week that makes Tyler Higbee a league winner? Nothing really, right? However, Bijan Robinson goes down. Tyler Algier is a top 10 running back. Tyler Algier is a running back that wins leagues. So I really want to be rostering guys like Tyler Algier. Luke says, drafted Brees over Amari at 41. What are your thoughts? If it's a league where you start 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, solid. A league where you start 3 wide receivers or multiple flex spots, going to be a little bit tougher to get behind. Robert says, for the flex, we're going to go Hopkins, Juju, or Jahan Dotson. We're going to go with DeAndre Hopkins. I would have said Dotson earlier in the week, my friend. But now that McLaurin's good to go, I think that we do want to pivot. I think that we probably just want to lock in DeAndre Hopkins. Josu says, have BBR for the flex. Pirine, Reed, Mims, or Jacoby Myers. Oh, tough. I think oh my gosh. Pirine's going to be in a 3-man running back by committee, and he's not going to have the lead here. If Judy doesn't play, we go Mims. If not, we pivot to Reed with no Christian Watson. Kelly says, 14-team full PPR format. We have Pollard, Walker, Zeke, Algier, Bigsby. Wide receiver, we have A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, Odell. Hawkinson at tight end. We have Rodgers, Sam Howell. What do you think? Awesome content so far this year. No, thank you so much, my man. Yeah, 14-team league. Obviously, depth's going to be a little bit more important. Going to be harder for me to say, yeah, let's go out there and drop someone like Odell. No, we're going to keep everybody here. Seems very deep for a 14-team format. Like if we're looking at our bench options, look like the bench options of like a 10-team league. We have the elite RB production at the very top, but we were well balanced with Pollard, A.J. Brown. We have a tight end that we really like. We can play the matchups at quarterback. I really like the team. I wish that we had a little bit more for you here, my friend. I think we just roll with this as is. If we could sell, say, A.J. Brown for Garrett Wilson, get the stack with Aaron Rodgers, we would, but great team for a 14-team format in particular. Now, Joseph coming out saying, happy BR 12-team league, 6 point per passing touchdown, 5-person bench. We have Jalen Hurts at QB. Running back, we have Hurts, Pollard, Gibbs, Mostert, Tank. Wide receiver, we have Deontay, London, Judy, Sky, Gabe Davis. Tight end, we have Waller and Kincaid. What are your overall thoughts? If it's a league where we only have 5 bench spots, I really don't want to be rostered a backup tight end if we have someone like Waller. Does make sense to have Kincaid with the Waller hamstring, though. Waller plays on Sunday night. We don't know when we're going to get that clarity. Kincaid's a nice pivot option Monday night, but once Waller is fully healthy, especially if Kincaid flashes early, I'd really like if we could go ahead and package together Kincaid and either Deontay or Kincaid and Drake London to get an elite level wide receiver, because ultimately that is what this team's missing at the end of the day, is a wide receiver we're really excited about. Mark coming out says Sutton, McLaurin, Drake London, start 2, and if so, who? We're going to go with Drake London for sure as one of these guys. We're going to go with Cortland Sutton if Jerry Jeudy were to miss, and we're going to go Terry McLaurin if Jerry Jeudy were to play. Now, CB says, hey, Mason, just curious on who you think we should start. We need 3 in the sit 2. We have DJ Moore, Evans, Hopkins, Javonte, and McLaurin. I'm going to be benching Javonte, who's going to be on a snap count this week. We just learned this earlier today after Sean Payton lied to us earlier in the week saying that he was good to go. And we are also going to go ahead and we're going to be benching Terry McLaurin, dealing with the turf toe, my friend. So yeah, start DJ Moore, Mike Evans, and DeAndre Hopkins. Matthew says Jeudy or Hollywood rest of season, full PPR format. We're definitely going to go Jeudy. I mean, Denver's not a good offense, but they're not as much of a debacle as the Arizona Cardinals are, my friend. But Pierce Lee says, would you trade Kupp for TJ Hawkinson? We're currently starting Pat Frymuth. We have Lockett, Higgins, Deontay, and Zay Jones left over at wide receiver. We need to start 2 wide receivers and a flex. We can't do it, my man. We can't. I don't know. I love Hawkinson. I just don't know if he can come close to the ceiling that we have with Kupp. It would be different if we were just garbage when it came to our wide receiver production. But I mean, having Cooper Kupp, we are in a good spot, my man. I'm sorry, having Frymuth, we are in a good spot. We have a tight end that we can rely on right now. Now, SDS to start Elijah Mitchell or Ezekiel Elliott. We're going to go ahead. We will take Ezekiel Elliott. Ramondre Stevenson, obviously sick. I think he is good to go. But with Elijah Mitchell and Zeke, you're essentially just betting on who gets the rushing touchdown, right? If Ramondre was fully 100%, maybe we go Mitchell. Let's go Zeke. They paid the man. And then Hollywood or Burks. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take Hollywood Brown if healthy. If not, we'll go Burks. Rob says Javonte or Gibson at running back. Oh my God, do we have to? London or Najee. We're going to go Najee. We're going to get the guaranteed volume. Can everybody please let me know in the chat, are you going to go Javonte with a snap count? Or are you going to be going with Antonio Gibson in a solid matchup against the Arizona Cardinals? Can y'all please let me know in the chat right now? Are you going to go Gibson or Javonte? Gibson, Javonte. Gibson, Javonte. Gibson, Javonte. Javonte. So it looks like most people are taking Javonte. Lethal says, why does Javonte have a snap count? It's coming off a 20 ACL, my man. I mean, sucks. Trust me. I wish he was 100% good to go. I wish we weren't having to deal with it. But yeah, it'll be something that we have to deal with, sadly. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Chase. Always happy to see him. My man says, hey, Mason, keep up the good work, brother. Love the grind and hustle. Best out there. Thoughts on Andrews? No backup tight end. Our backup tight end options are Dulcich, Hill, Musgrave, Thomas off the waiver wire. We would drop Tucker, Dobbs, or Roschon if we need to. I think the drop here would be Sean Tucker. I like Tucker as a prospect, but with how he fell in the NFL draft, I think he's very hard to roster, knowing that he is a running back with no pedigree on a bottom 5 team, and he's a clear backup. So I would say most likely we are going to have to pick up another tight end. I would go pick up Greg Dulcich, drop Sean Tucker, and of course, it's really going to come down to the reports we get tomorrow morning on what's happening. I'm operating under the assumption Mark Andrews is going to be good to go and Mark Andrews will play. But of course, by no means is that a guarantee, but he did practice all week, though he's still questionable. Gucci Broomstick says, is Chris Godwin not a super viable option this week against a team who will likely air it out and be playing from behind, or is Baker just that bad? My man, I really like Godwin and Mike Williams this week. I like wide receivers against the Minnesota Vikings, just considering the fact that, I mean, like you were saying, Minnesota's going to push the pace of play. I think that Tampa probably has to go out there and they probably have to air the ball out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 likes away from hitting 800 likes on this stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Help us hit 800. And of course, if y'all want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, it's not too late. You can still find that link in the live chat in the description in the comment section. Promo code FLOCKS is going to give you a 100% deposit match up to $200. Plus our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find all of our premium content. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, they have a site-wide special, Saquon Barkley, more than less than half a passing yard against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night. You get an additional Josh Allen exclusive pick of more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets on Monday night, only if you use promo code FLOCK. And a third mystery special pick'em if you are new to Underdog Fantasy. Please make sure you go down there and take advantage if you have not done so already. But Danny coming out says, 14-team PBR format. Cup team wants me to trade 40K. He has Saquon, Hall, London, Kirk. We have Ramondre, Dion, Mostert, DK, Tyreek starting. Brian Robinson, Warren, Addison, Gabe, Hollywood. Need to upgrade running back. What is your thoughts? I would say 14-team format, you can't do it. 14-team format, it's going to be so hard to find someone that we're excited about starting in the first place that we need to go ahead. We need to just get the guaranteed production in DK Metcalf here. Where you're trading for Cup is like a 10-team league and with only one flex where you're not necessarily in a spot where we're that excited about, I mean, hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns, ladies and gentlemen. But nonetheless, we only really care about upside in a format like this. Here, the floor actually matters. If you really wanted to buy Cooper Kupp from this guy, we can send DK Metcalf, Ramondre Stevenson for like Kupp, Saquon, right? If we can do that, then hell yes. Hell yes, if he's that desperate. But you're in the position of power whenever he's the guy with Cooper Kupp, and you don't have to deal with that headache right now. Now, A-Spec coming out says, PBR for the flex, Raheem Mostert or Christian Kirk. We're going to go Mostert. You have to start him. Looking at the Underdog picking for him, they have him at like 82.5 total yards. I was way too low on him in our rankings. I apologize. I was wrong. And I want to make sure that everybody watching this right now is starting Raheem Mostert. He's going to get every single touch. He's in a very high-scoring game environment, so he does have touchdown upside as well. Now, D. Ollie says 12-team BBR, 1 flex. The starters are Fields, Ramondre, James Cook, White, Goddard, Tyreek, Amon-Ra. And then on the bench, we have Burks, Jameson, Elijah Moore, Gabe Davis, Gibson, Johnson. What are your thoughts? I really like the team and the overall upside that we have in the starting lineup. The fundamental issue that this team's going to have is when it comes to its running back depth. Here, if you have wide receivers at the very top of the starting lineup, such as Tyreek Hill and Amon-Ra St. Brown, you're in a position where we don't really need to focus in too much on wide receiver depth. However, we are rostering Hill, Amon-Ra, Burks, Jameson, Elijah, Gabe Davis, Quentin Johnston. We have 7 wide receivers here. And in comparison to the running backs, we're only rolling with Ramondre, Rashad White, and Antonio Gibson. So we have elite wide receiver production at the top, but we're still rostering 7 wide receivers in comparison to only 3 RBs. So I would go ahead, I would cut Jameson Williams, my friend, and I would see if we can go out there and pick up another running back off the waiver wire that we like the upside of. Now, our next question coming out from Back 40 says, who to start in the flex, Dotson, James Cook, or Zach Charbonnet? We're going to go ahead. We will go with James Cook. I definitely would have said Dotson earlier in the week, but now if you're looking at Terry McLaurin, I don't know. It's going to be harder to go with Dotson. Like, realistically, if we look at the pick'em that they have on Underdog right now for Jahan Dotson, I like taking the more than 42.5 receiving yards. But they only have him at like 43.5 receiving yards. This is the same as like Jonathan Mingo, you know? So it is a tough spot to remain with the fact that, oh, maybe he is a must-start guy like he was with Ned McLaurin. Chase, been a long time. Remember the vlog. Happy to have you, my man. Mike says, my team is A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts for the stack. Hell yes. We also have Calvin Ridley, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Travis Kelce, T. Higgins. And then on the bench, we have Hopkins, John Dotson, Tyler Lockett, Akers, James Cook, Pacheco. Should we trade Derrick Henry for Joe Mixon and Garrett Wilson in a full PPR format? I personally would, my friend. Generally, if it's going to be a league where we only start 2 wide receivers and 1 flex, I'm never too excited to go out there and give up the best player, give up someone like Derrick Henry, especially if we're getting a wide receiver in return. But ultimately, I do think that Derrick Henry and Garrett Wilson are in the same tier. And if you're telling me we're just picking up someone like Joe Mixon for free, it is 100% a trade that I think we want to go ahead and make. But great team. Now, Best Man Podcast coming out says, most platforms are putting Fields to a neck-and-neck matchup-wise. Who are you taking? 12-team PPR. I have the Waddle stack. I know this is probably not going to be the answer that you look for, but if it's a 6-point passing touchdown format, I think you can go ahead. I think that you can take Tua. Whereas if it's going to be a 4-point passing touchdown format, you're most likely going to have to go with the overall rushing upside of Justin Fields. It really does depend on your overall format and scoring on how we're valuing those 2 quarterbacks against each other. Now, Ryan says, last flex spot, Odell, Khalil Herbert, Deontay Johnson. I think we are going to go ahead. We're going to take Deontay in a full PPR league. We'll go with like Khalil Herbert if it's like a non-PPR format. With Deontay, obviously it'll be the decision more times than not. The issue that we have this week and why we're a little bit hesitant with him is just given the fact that you have a very tough matchup against the 49ers. Tori coming out saying 12-team league where we have Burrow, Bijan, Stevenson, Evans, Reed, Njoku, Gibson. And then on the bench, we have Van, Kupp, Addison, Hollywood, Bigsby, Cousins, Juwan Johnson, and Watson. What are your thoughts? I really don't want to be starting Jaden Reed if we can avoid it. If Hollywood is going to be good to go, I would play Hollywood Brown over Jaden Reed. And I honestly may play Van Jefferson over Reed as well. Like, we've seen the production with Van Jefferson before. With Jaden Reed, ultimately, this isn't a super impressive prospect. It's a questionable passing offense that we haven't seen in the past. So I don't know how excited we are to go out there and throw Jaden Reed into the starting lineup. I probably would rather take the bet on Van Jefferson. And of course, Hollywood Brown if Hollywood is good to go. But just like how we said to bench Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, like when the backup wide receivers get the bump in opportunity because there's a starter in front of them, it's not like the running back position. It's not like you can just go out there and jam them in. Now, Rowan says we have James Conner, Rachaad White, Dylan Dameon Pierce, and Mike Williams. We need to start 1 at running back and flex 2 others. Our running back will end up being Dameon Pierce. Very tough matchup, but hell, I'm like James Conner's in a horrendous offense too, right? And then our flex, we have to go ahead. We have to play Mike Williams in a very good game environment. And then I guess our last spot, we will go ahead. We will take James Conner, even if we're not excited about it. And definitely not excited about the offense. Evan says, what do you think in an 8-team league? We have Burrow at quarterback. Running back, we have Pollard, Etienne. Wide receiver, we have Mike Williams, T. Higgins. We have Higbee, Kelsey at tight end, Dobbins. And then on the bench, Kupp, JT, Mostert, Swift. Who to start / traits. We're not changing the starting lineup here. And specifically because this is an 8-team format, we're not looking to make any trades. If it was a 12-team league with multiple flex spots, you would have to sell Kupp. You would have to sell Taylor, at least one of those guys, right? But with this being an 8-team format, it's going to be super easy to find, fill-ins for those options. And in an 8-team league, really the only thing that's going to matter is going through and focusing on the long-term upside of these players. So I think we just try to stay alive. I don't really think that we make any moves right now because it's an 8-team format. But of course, it would be different if it wasn't. DRB says, I have Waller and no backup. Do I pick up Knox or Kincaid to play Monday? I would go ahead and pick up Dalton Kincaid here, my man. It is a really nice spot where, you have obviously the uncertainty with Waller on Sunday night. That is very frustrating. But having a quality Monday night pivot option in the worst case, I mean, it's still pretty good. Now, Brendan says McLaurin, Ayuk, Dillon, or Van Jefferson for the flex. Pretty good. We will be playing Brandon Ayuk. I think McLaurin is a much better matchup, but ultimately, I don't want to deal with the turf toe. Now, Big Route says, should we trade George Pickens for Cooper Kupp? We also have Adams, St. Brown, and Godwin. So we don't even rely on Pickens as is. So if it's going to be a bench option where we're shooting for upside, hell yeah, let's trade George Pickens for Cooper Kupp, my friend. Robert coming out says, what are your thoughts? It is a 10-team PPR format with Lamar at quarterback. Wide receiver, we have Adams, Kirk. Running back, we have CMC, Mixon. We have Andrews, tight end. We also have Hopkins, Dicker the kicker, Holcomb Lawrence. On the bench, we have Dotson, Montgomery, Juju, and Logan Thomas. I think this is a phenomenal team, my man. I think, and you're probably going to hate to hear this, the move that we could potentially look to make is see what we could get for David Montgomery. If we're looking at David Montgomery, my man, I mean, this is a running back that ultimately at the end of the day will have that first and second down role in the red zone role for the Detroit Lions, which is valuable. But in a full PPR format, Gibbs will eventually be the most valuable running back in Detroit. Montgomery looked phenomenal on Thursday night. So a lot of people are realizing they were too low on him in their rankings. They're moving him up. And I think he should probably have been higher all along. But if we could go ahead and potentially capitalize a little bit on that value, package him with a player like DeAndre Hopkins, get an upgrade in the flex would be interesting just because we have the overall depth. Not something we have to do, but something we could potentially do if you wanted. Dialli says, the message I sent you also have James Cook on top of Gibson, Rashad White, Ramondre. Still drop for a running back. Oh, so the league where we had the 2 elite level wide receivers, 7 wide receivers, and 3 running backs on the team. We don't have to, but I would be a little bit more inclined there to go ahead and see if we can get a 2-for-1 deal done. Improve the starting lineup like at RB2. Just because, I mean, I don't want to have that much wide receiver depth on a team. I don't want to roster 7 wide receivers whenever we have Tyreek and Amon-Ra St. Brown at the top. Like, those guys at the bottom end are doing nothing for us. Ollie says, start 1, Mike Williams, Deontay, or Christian Kirk. My man, happy to see you, and we will go ahead and we will go with Mike Williams here. And also, what's the latest news with Andrews? I'll pull it up and see if we have any additional news that we can be looking at here, ladies and gentlemen. Especially, just want to see if there's anything overall, not just with Mark Andrews, but we went through all the injury news at the beginning of this live stream. Yeah, and there's still nothing as of now. Hopefully we get something soon. We will be going through and we will be keeping you updated, though, my friend. We'll be keeping you updated. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from, and yeah, so essentially with Andrews, he's still questionable, been limited all week with the quad. He should be good. It's a 12-team map PPR where we have Allen, Jefferson, DJ, Dobbins, James Cook, Andrews, Lockett, Pickens, Warren, Charbonnet, Algier, Kincaid. Should we try to make any trades? Not right now. I think you may be in an interesting spot, though. Like, if J.K. Dobbins pops, where Dobbins looks so damn good in a great matchup against the Houston Texans, where we potentially go out there and see if we can package like Dobbins and DJ Moore to go out and get maybe, I mean, an elite level RB in like the Travis Etienne tier, but not something that we're having to do right now. Now, Jacob says 12-team PPR, super flex, 6-point passing touchdown, shallow bench. Trade hasn't processed yet, but me and my league mates agreed on Saquon, Gibbs, Tank Dell, him and my man. You do not want Tank Dell. For Geno, Dobbins, Bateman. Did I just pull off a heist? Yes, you did. And if your league mates get pissed, say, keep Tank Dell. Keep Tank, we'll be fine. But yeah, go ahead and go get Saquon. I mean, I'd rather have Saquon over Geno, Dobbins, Bateman. Not even close. You're getting Gibbs for absolutely free. That is a straight up robbery, my man. Ollie says, big one, Sutton or Pittman, and is Judy out? Looks like Judy is still questionable. They did activate 2 wide receivers off the practice squad, which is interesting. Now, with that being said, I still think Judy may have a shot to play. He did practice all week, still limited with a hamstring. If Judy does play, we're going to go with Michael Pittman. If Judy doesn't play, we're going to go with Cortland Sutton. Cebus says, DJ, Hopkins, Evans, we need to sit 1. McLaurin, Javonte, we need to sit 1. Full PPR, we probably sit Javonte. Non-BBR, we probably sit McLaurin. And then we need to sit DJ Moore in favor of Hopkins and Mike Evans. Well, like right now, if you go and look at the, projections that they have with the pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy right now, they literally have DJ Moore at 3.5 receptions. They have Moore at 3.5, my man. Like, the passing volume is going to be so hard to come by in Chicago. Rowan coming out and says, pick 2 at the flex. We have Hopkins, Sutton, Pirine, and A.J. Dillon. We're going to go with Sutton and DeAndre Hopkins, regardless of if Jared Jeudy plays. 5-0 Drones coming out with a donation. Thank you so much, my man. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I see you didn't attach a question to this, but let me see if we can find a question from you in the live chat right now. No, I cannot, but please let me know in the live chat. Don't feel like you have to donate again. Please, just let me know if you have anything. If you just want to support the channel, thank you so much for that as well. And Carson says, 10-team PPR format where we have Burrow, Richardson, Stevenson, Pierce, Akers, Zeke. Wide receiver, we have Tyreek, Lamb, Watson, Dotson, Pittman, Ingram, and Higbee at tight end. Any trades to make? Not right now, but in the long term, when we just have this kind of depth, we can afford an elite level tight end. Like if we could go out there and trade like Anthony Richardson and Evan Ingram to go get a player like TJ Hawkinson, I think that makes so much sense, my friend. Leak says Rodgers, CMC, Sanders, Adams, Hopkins, Andrews, Godwin. Should we trade Rodgers, Adams, Godwin for Allen and Lamar? So going from Godwin to Keenan Allen, lateral move. I probably would prefer Keenan, but it's close. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. But going from Adams to Lamar, Cooks. I definitely want to just keep Chris Godwin and Avonte Adams here. I would much prefer, like, if we could go like DeAndre Hopkins and Chris Godwin to get Lamar Jackson and Keenan Allen and don't need Brandon Cooks in return. If we can keep Adams, send Hopkins instead and tell him he can keep Brandon Cooks, that's a move I'd really like. Green Blogger says, I'm still starting Trey Lance. Hashtag loyal, hashtag not a fan. My man, I appreciate you. And yeah, so I'll be rooting for you this week, my man. Yeah, that's awesome. Now, our next wish coming out from Colin who says, Brees or Dion in a full PBR format. Now that we officially have no Moss, if you wanted to go Dion, I'm going to be fine with it. Not necessarily something can everybody please spam the chat? We have 1,000 people out here. Let's get 1,000 messages in this live chat. And we're also about 10 likes away. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream. Help us get to 900 likes on this live stream. We're closing in on 1,000. But please let me know in the live chat ASAP. Are you going to go ahead? Are you going to take Dion or Brees Hall? Hall, Dion. Chase says Hook'em Horns. Looks like we just got stopped on 4th. RIP. Brees, Dion. Brees, Dion. Yeah, looks like most people are going Deion Jackson here, my man. Yeah, RIP Texas. Being a Texas Longhorn fan it's a tough life, ladies and gentlemen. I'll let you know that much. But nonetheless, our next question coming out from, I believe, Daryl says, James Cook or Javonte Williams in a half PPR format. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take James Cook. I mean, Sean Payton gave us the head fake earlier the week where he came out and said, oh, yeah, no, you're going to get a full workload from Brees Hall to then just, from Javonte to then just turn around and tell us Javante's going to be on a snap count. I think we have to take James Cook now, my man. Green Blocker says, for the flex, you're going to go Raheem Mostert, Greg Dulcich, Hollywood Brown, or JSN. Happy PPR. We have to go with Raheem Mostert. It's not even close. If you look at the underdog pick'em that they have for Mostert this week, they have him at 82.5 total yards. This is like the Joe Mixon range. This makes him a must-start running back. Everybody, if you do not have Mostert in your starting lineup, please fix it. I was too low on him in the rankings earlier in the week. I owe you a big apology for that. Go out there and get him in if you don't have him in already. And of course, if you want to check out any of those pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, you still can. Not too late. You can find that link in the live chat in the description in the comment section. Promo code FLOCKS can get you 100% deposit match up to $200. And now is the best time to get on Underdog because they've been going freaking nuts with the special pick'ems this week one. They have Saquon Barkley more than less than half a total yard against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night. If you are new to Underdog Fantasy, you get an additional mystery special pick'em, ladies and gentlemen. And if you use promo code FLOCK, you get a third special pick'em, Josh Allen, more than less than half a passing yard. You're only going to get all that with promo code FLOCK, so please make sure you're taking advantage as soon as you can. But Chris coming out saying 8-team full PPR format where we only start 2 wide receivers in a flex. Upside's going to be the only thing that matters. Depth doesn't matter at all in a format like this. We have Allen, Bijan, Gibbs, Ridley, Olave, Lamb, Pitts. And then on the bench, we have Dotson, Jameson, JT, Dobbins, Warren, Flowers, JSN, any trades. Every deal we make is a 2-for-1 deal. If we can trade Dotson and Pitts and go get Hawkinson, you do it. If you can trade Dobbins and Ridley and go get Adams, you do it. I would love to get to Diggs. If we could go say Calvin Ridley, Jameson Williams, J.K. Dobbins, and somehow go get Stephon Diggs, that'd make a lot of sense. Just please be looking for 2-for-1 deals where you can. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Justin says, 10-team PPR format where we have Kupp on the IR. We also have Dotson, London, Elijah Moore, Zay Flowers, Addison. Should we pick up Zay or Allen Lazard? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go Zay over Lazard. I mean, Zay was in 2 wide receiver sets alongside Calvin Ridley in the preseason, where Kirk looks like he may be a little bit more regulated to slot duties. And if that's going to be the case, then you have, I don't want to say a lot of upside with Zay, but you do have upside. Now, Jacob coming out saying, final team after the trade. No. Oh, Bama, big touchdown. RIP. Is Mahomes, Fields, Saquon, Brees, Jameer, Pirine, Charbonnet, Warren, St. Brown, Olave, London, Addison, Dell. Gonna drop Pitts. What are we thinking? An unbelievable team, my man. Assuming this is a 1 quarterback format, if we can go ahead and trade Justin Fields and maybe a wide receiver like Drake London and get a true elite level wide receiver in the starting lineup, that would be very exciting. But by no means is that something we have to do. Just something that we will be looking at. Now, Sim says, should I trade for Mike Evans? I'm in a full PPR format, hoping that he gets traded and his value increases. The report came out today saying the contract's not getting done. But even with the contract not getting done, you still don't have Mike Williams potentially getting traded. It would make sense in my mind that Evans is dealt. I don't know why they're saying that it's for sure not going to happen. I would just warn you, probably don't go through and trade for Mike Evans right now. With the sole purpose of him getting dealt and you being able to sell at a higher price. I don't know how likely that is, my friend. Now, Ollie coming out says, in a 12-team full PPR format, no tight end and 2 flex spots, we have Lamar, Barkley, Dobbins, Diggs, DJ Moore, Andrews, Algier, Damian Harris. Want to make a trade, want to trademark Andrews, but trade I should look for, we got an offer for Josh Allen, Lockett, for Lamar and Mark Andrews. This is exactly what we were talking about when we were saying, let's sell Mark Andrews for cheap. With a league where you don't have to start a tight end position, Tyler Lockett probably outscores Mark Andrews straight up. Andrews is still worth way more in a league where you have to start a tight end, because if you look at Andrews versus other tight ends at fantasy football, Andrews obviously is going to be much more appealing. But in a league with no tight end, I don't even want to roster one of these guys. Getting an upgrade from Lamar to Josh Allen makes a lot of sense as well. So it seems like you're losing the trade just based off of what you have with the quote-unquote name appeal. And obviously, I'm not saying that Tyler Lockett and Mark Andrews are going to do the exact same thing that they have done in the past. But if we go through and if we look at what we've had with these players and just look at their overall fantasy points per game over the past few seasons, you'll see that, they're pretty much comparable if you only view them as a flex option. Mark Andrews last year, 56.5 receiving yards per game. If you go over to Tyler Lockett, 64.5. The year before, Andrews was at 80. The year before, Lockett was at 73. These guys are very comparable. And also, if it's a league where you only can play tight ends in the flex, but you can put wide receivers in the starting lineup and the flex, inherently, I'd rather just have the wide receiver production. And we're getting an upgraded QB. Colin says, traded Javonte Van to the Cup owner for J.K. Dobbins. Beautiful deal. Love taking advantage of that Van value. Couple league members got pissed and claimed highly trash trade. What are your thoughts? I mean, I definitely think I would rather have the J.K. Dobbins side there, my man. But, I mean, it's understandable if you want to have, Van Jefferson, if you are the Cooper Cup owner, if you felt like you didn't have enough wide receiver depth. But overall, it's definitely not even close to be veto worthy. Like, the only time you should ever veto a trade is if it's clear collusion, which that clearly isn't. Now, our next question coming out from Younglock says, do you think Mark will play? Should I pick up a tight end? I think Mark will play, but what's nice is they play earlier in the day, so we are going to have a backup tight end option we can pivot to later if we really need to. And Rowan says, pick 2 at the flex. We have Dotson, Dillon, and Deion Jackson. We're going to go with Dotson and Deion Jackson. Deion's going to be more appealing now that Zach Moss is confirmed not good to go for tomorrow. Ray says, would you rather have JSN or James Cook? Rest of season will be dependent on your roster. Week 1, we're going to go James Cook. Okay. Keon says 10-team PPR, 2 wide receivers and a flex. Hurts, Connor, Sanders, Allen, Lockett, Andrews, Dion, Hall, Boyd, Hollywood, Sky, Thielen, Kelsey, and JT. Thoughts and any trades? Really need Kelsey back, my man. Once we get Kelsey back, we'll have Hurts, Kelsey, the QB1, tight end 1. Once we get JT back, we'll have a potential RB1. We're going to be sitting on our hands for now. I will say drop Sky Moore, see what running back we can pick up off the waiver wire in this kind of format in particular. But when it comes to making moves, you're going to be like operating with your hands tied behind your back when we're waiting for Jonathan Taylor to come back in. Obviously, in the long term, we're really excited about this team. But in the short term, it would be very difficult for us to go out there and do anything. But our next question coming out from Liam says, roster thoughts, it's a 12-team PPR format. Quarterback, we have Watson, Geno. Running back, we have Gibson, Pierce, Pollard, Javonte. Wide receiver, we have Cooks, Higgins, Tyreek. Okay, my man, I thought it was going to be a trash team. Why do you put Tyreek Hill 3? Okay, better, much better there. We have Evan Ingram, Sam Laporta at tight end. I don't love rostering 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends, but with this roster in particular, I think it does make some sense. Yeah, but if we have Pollard, Tyreek at running back, wide receiver, T. Higgins are round 3 selections. I do really like this team. I think it's going to struggle maybe this week just because Dameon Pierce is such a brutal matchup going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Long term, I think you're in a good spot. I would see if we can eventually make a trade where we're not having to roster 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends. But as of now, I think it does make sense with this team. Now, Josh coming out says, London, Bateman, Pittman, JSN, Dalvin, Zeke. We got to start 2. I think we're going to go ahead. We will be starting Drake London, definitely for one of these spots. And then if it's going to be a full PPR format, I think you can go Bateman, non-PPR league, and then we'll pivot over to Dalvin, my friend. I would like to avoid Pittman if we can, just considering the fact it's a very questionable offense with the passing volume until we actually see Anthony Richardson. Now, Jay coming out says 10-team full PPR format where we only have 2 wide receivers and a flex. Thoughts on Hurts, CMC, Sanders, AJ, DK, Hawkinson, DJ Moore in the flex. And then on the bench, we have Pickens, Pacheco, Jace. This is exactly what we want to see. 10-team league, if you're going to be looking at how we should be adjusting our starting lineup requirements, we need to be going out there and moving up the importance of grabbing an elite level quarterback. The reason being is fundamentally at the end of the day, they're going to make up a higher percentage of our starting lineup output overall, and depth wide receivers aren't going to matter nearly as much. So for this format in particular, to have like CMC, Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts stacked with AJ Brown, that is beautiful, my friend. Now, Happen coming out says, is David Montgomery a sell high around week 3 or hold on to for the entire season? A 10-team league where he's my RB3/flex. 10-team format, I do think that Montgomery does have a little bit of a cap ceiling overall. I would actually qualify him as a sell high candidate. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you're in a spot where In a 10-team full PPR format, we are chasing the highest ceiling possible. Full PPR format, I don't necessarily think that he has the receiving work. I think instead that is going to be coming from Jahmyr Gibbs. So I wouldn't mind at all if you wanted to sell high on Montgomery, but the package would be Montgomery and another wide receiver to get an upgrade in the starting lineup. Now, Yacht from Grand TV says, football is back, baby. Okay, so I'm in 3 different leagues. I need 3 flexes. We have Dalvin, Hopkins, Sutton, Dotson, Madison, White, Herbert, Lockett, Hopkins or Sutton. We're going to be going Hopkins. Dotson, Madison, White, or Herbert. We're going to be going Madison. Lockett, Herbert, Sutton, Ayuk. We will go ahead and we will take Tyler Lockett here, my friend. But again, thank you so much for being a long-time member of the flock. Really, really happy to have you, Ants. Hokum Lawrence, Texas back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Let's go. Now, Brian says, flex start, Khalil Herbert, Brees, or JSN. We already go ahead. We will take Khalil Herbert. I definitely prefer these other options in the long term. But in the short term, I don't necessarily think we want to be relying on JSN, rookie wide receiver. And at least week 1, I would rather wait to see what those splits going to be between Brees and Dalvin. Now, Saram coming out says 12-team PPR format where we have Hurts at quarterback. We also have Javonte, Hall, Dalvin, Hunt, Elijah. Wide receiver, we have AJ, Hopkins, JSN, Gabe, Boyd, Mingo. Tight end, we have Kelsey, Dalvin, and Hopkins for ETN, or Dalvin and Cook for Jahmyr Gibbs. Any other trades? We would definitely be looking at the ETN side here. If you're telling me this is a shallow format where we only have 2 wide receivers and 1 flex, fundamentally a depth wide receiver like DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think is really going to move the needle for us. So I actually probably would go ahead and look to get the Travis Etienne side here. I mean, if it's a league with multiple flexes, then I think we keep the 2 starters. League with 1 flex, then go get Etienne. Now, Saram says trade for running backs or wide receivers and any other running back targets. Okay, let's go ahead and let's see if we can find Saram's team again. My man, I can't see your team. If you were going to go through and trade for a running back in a full PPR format, I would look to go ahead. I would look to add in Jahmyr Gibbs potentially on the cheap, just given the fact that, I mean, everybody saw him fail Thursday night. It wasn't based off his overall talent. Looks like it was based off usage. Hell, it was his first NFL game ever. If you're in a full PPR format, he is going to expand his role as a pass catcher. So I think Gibbs would be a running back target if you wanted to go out there and look for an RB, my man. Now, Drew says, how PPR are we going to start, Raheem Mostert or Mike Williams in the flex? If you would have asked me earlier in the week, I probably would have gone Mike Williams. But now looking at the updated projections for Mostert with the guaranteed volume, I think you do have to go in his direction, my friend. And Zach says, I'm overthinking, but Rodgers or Burrow? We're going to be going Burrow over Rodgers. You're definitely overthinking it. Obviously, it would be fun to watch Rodgers on Monday night, though. Burrow's record versus the Browns in a recent injury is my concern. I have Garrett Wilson, if that matters. Not really going to matter much for us. I mean, if you think of Joe Burrow versus the Browns, super limited sample. I mean, how many games against the Browns has he played when he's actually been good? Like, well, let's not include his rookie season. That doesn't really count. Since he had Chase. He's had 4 games against the Browns. I mean, looking at a sample size as small as 4 is something that you can never really rely on. So I will go ahead and we will take Joe Burrow here, my man. Okay. So now our next question coming out from Samuel says, need a running back, a wide receiver, in a flex. We have Hall, Javonte, Nico, Van, and Sutton. Also flex 1 between Pirine, Van, or Deion Jackson. Trying to survive these first couple weeks. Thank you. No, thank you so much, my man. Running back, we're going to be going with Javonte Williams. Wide receiver, we're going to go Courtland Sutton. And for the flex, as much as I hate to say it, we will be taking Breece Hall. Now, between Pirine, Van, or Deion Jackson, we're going to go ahead. We will take Deion Jackson here. I mean, with Deion, I think that he's a little bit more appealing now that you are looking at a running back that, I mean, doesn't have to deal with Zach Moss. It's just going to be a split between Deion and Evan Hall. Still not too excited about him because I think Anthony Richardson is really the running back 1 in this offense. Richardson will see the majority of the work. But now he is viable. Now I see you, Mark coming out to start 1 wide receiver, 1 running back in a full PPR format out of DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, Dylan, and Deion Jackson. Wide receiver, we will be going with Chris Godwin. And running back, we will be going with Deion Jackson. The issue is, if you're looking at the passing volume that you have in Chicago this week, going to be slim to none. I mean, if you look at the underdog pick'em, they have DJ Moore at 3.5 receptions over here. Like, the Chicago Bears just don't throw the ball. They're going to look to run over and over and over again. And when they do drop back, obviously, Fields going to take up so much of that overall production on his own with his legs. Now, Twisted Clown coming out saying, 12-team PPR format, we have Lamar at quarterback. We have Chase, Lockett, Jacobs, Walker, Hawkinson, Zay. And then on the bench, we have Dawson Knox, Aaron Rodgers, Quentin Johnston, MVS, Hyatt, Singletary, Jaden Reed with Taylor on. I hate this bench, my man. Starting lineup is great and has a lot of upside. But there's no reason to have Knox whenever we have TJ Hawkinson. Drop Dawson Knox, go pick up a running back that we like with upside, and hook 'em horns, ladies and gentlemen. Hook 'em horns. Let's go. Hook 'em horns. Okay, so yeah, let's drop Dawson Knox. And there's no reason to have a backup tight end when we have Hawkinson. Let's drop Rodgers. You don't need a backup quarterback whenever we have Lamar, especially if the options on our bench are this gross. I'll say drop MVS. If he wasn't going to produce whenever we had no Travis Kelce, I don't think it's happening. Drop Jalen. I would love to know the waiver wire options with this league, because I would imagine that, I mean, there are 10 waiver wire options better than these bench options that we have. Love to prioritize running back upside down there on the bench if we can. I'm not changing anything with the starting lineup as of now. I really like the upside of the starting lineup. It's just more so the bench isn't great. Okay. Now, so let's move this over. And Lone Wolf says, double flex, 12-team format. We have Dak, CMC, Pollard, Wilson, Amari, Godwin, London, Laporta, White, Robinson, Deshaun Watson. Is there anything that you would suggest? I actually like having Watson and Dak Prescott. I think these are two quarterbacks that we can play the matchups with. We have two RB1s. We have the consolidated bet on the Dallas Cowboys offense with Dak Prescott and Tony Pollard. Wide receiver, we have, this is a great team. Great team. I'd love to upgrade at tight end if we can't afford it. Like, if we can go out there and trade like Laporta and London and get back a tight end that we feel comfortable starting every single week, would be nice. And maybe we could kind of get that value now with Sam Laporta looking really good on Thursday night. But great team. Swift coming out says, appreciate your hard work, my brother. No, thank you, my man. We're going to go with Deion Jackson or Dotson in the flex. I'm still going to go Dotson. If you look at the projections this week, Underdog would tell you to go with Deion. And 9 times out of 10, you should probably just listen to these projections. They have John Dotson only at 3.5 receptions, 43.5 receiving yards. Whereas, I mean, if you're going to look at Deion Jackson is sitting up there at 63.5 total yards. So they do have Deion as a more appealing play. I don't know. I just really like the matchup with Dotson, even if McLaurin is going to be in this offense. You feel like Deion's a better, if you think Deion's a better option and Underdog agrees with you with these projections, I'm not going to fault you at all for going ahead and taking Deion. Now, Austin coming out saying 12-team PPR, 1 flex. We have Lamar at quarterback. Wide receiver, we have Lamb, Amari, London. Running back, we have Chubb, Gibson, Laporta at tight end. And then on the bench, we have Hall, JT, Dotson, Johnston, Lazard, Bateman. Should we look to make a trade? Go Horns. Hook 'em, my man. And overall, I really like this team. I will say it's a very tough spot to be in. If you're telling me that we are not going to be able to put JT on the IR, if JT can't go on the IR, then I would like to go out there and see if we can just clear up some bench space, or if we could sell like Jahan Dotson and Sam Laporta, get an upgrade at tight ends after this week, preferably. I still think Dotson's going to have a good game against the Cardinals. And then there we'll open up another roster spot so we can make some moves down there in the bottom end of the bench. Because the fundamental issue is, if it's a league where you only have 5 bench spots and we have JT taking up one of them, it's going to be very hard to make waiver wire moves at the beginning portion of the season. Ron V says, let's go Texas. Yes, let's go Texas. Let's hook 'em Horns. I don't know what you're saying out here. Hook 'em Colts, my man. But Justin coming out saying, raid the team, please. We have Allen at quarterback. Wide receiver, we have Kupp, London, Dotson. Tight end, we have Kelce. Running back, we have Sanders, Pierce, Connor, Charbonnet. We also have Flowers, Addison, Elijah Moore, Mostert, Ferguson. Roll Tide. My man, you're really going to drop that on us here. You're really going to drop that on us. But here, I think that we are going to go ahead, and I think it's a great team long-term, right? It's going to really struggle this week. I'm assuming you're starting off 0-1. We had the Kelsey injury. We have no Cooper Kupp as well. You have a tough matchup for Dameon Pierce, so it's going to be really tough week one. Once we get Kelsey back in here, you should be in a good spot, my man. Definitely start Raheem Mostert. I think if we're going to be submitting this starting lineup, you're going to be going with quarterback Josh Allen. Wide receiver, we're going to be going with Drake London and Jahan Dotson. Running back, we are going to be going with Miles Sanders and Raheem Mostert. And then for the flex, it's gross. We probably have to play Dameon Pierce even in a very tough matchup. But I really like the team. And after we use Ferguson this week, once you end up getting Travis Kelce back and good to go, and we have that clarity, then at that point, we will look to go ahead and we will look to drop Jake Ferguson and see if we can pick up another running back or wide receiver with upside off the waiver wire. 5-0 Drones coming out with another donation. Thank you, my man. And let me go through and see if I can find a question from you in the live chat. Okay, saying 10-team BBR 1 flex. We have Chubb, Stevenson, Akers, Connor, Kupp, Ridley, McLaurin, Brandon Cooks, Evan Ingram, Thielen, Boyd, Mims, Charbonnet. Roster help, please. Mahalo, my man. And if we're looking at this, I think it's a team that has a lot of upside. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit tough whenever we have Cooper Kupp. We can get by with Cooper Kupp here. The reason being is if you are looking at the fact that we already have so much depth, particularly at running back, and it's a 10-team league with only one flex. Since it's a 10-team league with only one flex, we will be in a much more comfortable position overall than if it was like a 12-team league with multiple flex spots. I will say, if we could go through and possibly package together, say, James Conner, Terry McLaurin, get a wide receiver upgrade, or Cam Akers and Brandon Cooks go get a wide receiver upgrade. I think that make a lot of sense because now we have no Kupp, and at the same time, we have so much running back production here that we can afford to at least trade one of those running backs in that upgrade for a wide receiver. Okay. But David coming out with our next question saying, full BBR, 1 flex. We have Lawrence at quarterback. We have Saquon Bijan at RB. We have Allen, Chase, wide receiver. Kittle, tight end. Moore at the flex. On the bench, we have Cook, Addison, Myers, Gallup, Penny, Burks, Jawan, JT. What do you think? And any switches? That's James Cook on the flex spot. You could switch James Cook and DJ Moore if you just want to have some fun here and you want to have something to watch on Monday night. By no means is that something that we're going to have to do, just something that we can do if we want. Obviously, if Kittle doesn't play, Juwan Johnson's a fine option in a good matchup against the Tennessee Titans. Really nothing I'm saying as of now. I don't love having this many wide receivers on the bench on a team that has JT on the IR. I probably would drop someone with a cap ceiling but a high floor, someone like Jacoby Myers. Probably would rather go out and get a running back if we can. But still love the team, my man. Side note, if we could trade Keenan Allen for Calvin Ridley to get the Ridley-Lawrence stack, I think that'd also be interesting. But great team having Saquon and Bijan. I mean, you're going to be in a very, very good spot. Now, Dant Picks coming out. Thank you, my man. Says Watson, Henry, Jacobs, Diggs, Hill, Goddard, London, Kirk, Pittman, Charbonnet, Njoku, Dion, and Lawrence, JT on the IR. Any trades I should make? 8-team league, 6-point passing touchdown. 8-team league, 6-point passing touchdown. Really the only thing that matters is the highest ceiling possible. Depth isn't going to really come into play. So I'm completely fine having JT on a roster like this. Obviously, it will limit some of the moves that we can make early on. But still, we could take one of those depth wide receivers, such as Drake London, or potentially, say, a Christian Kirk, and package him with Dallas Goedert to go get an elite level tight end that we can be very excited to start every single week. I still like Goddard, but if we can somehow get ourselves to Andrews or TJ Hawkinson, I would really like that. In an 8-team league, when everybody's going to be solid at running back, everybody's going to be solid at wide receiver, and there are depth options we can go to off the waiver wire. Generally, that's something that we would be looking at, my man. That is something we'd be looking at. And I wanted to save this until the fourth quarter, until we needed it, ladies and gentlemen. But it looks like we need it. Looks like we need to break it out. Let's get it going. Hook 'em horns, ladies and gentlemen. Hook 'em horns. We need it here. All right. But see. MRV says, trade my Joe Mixon for A.J. Brown. Generally, I'm not going to do this, my man. Generally, I would rather just keep the best player. Keep A.J. Brown, regardless of the positional advantage you may get. And then Shinaboy coming out says, flex Javonte or Deion Jackson. Based off the report today saying from Sean Payton that Javonte will be on a snap count, plus what we are getting with Deion Jackson not having to deal with Zach Moss in his offense. Okay, is the helmet cursed? Is the helmet cursed, ladies and gentlemen? Alabama touchdown. We're still in the lead. I put it on and immediately touchdown. Brutal spot. I will go Deion over Javonte, though. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we're 1 like away. Make sure you go down there, drop a like on this live stream, be our 1,000th like of the stream. And also drop a like for the helmet if y'all want us wearing this helmet and getting a little sweaty here. And if you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, it's not late. It's not too late, ladies and gentlemen. You can still find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK. They're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, they have a site-wide special right now, more than less than half a total yard for Saquon Barkley against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night. You get an additional Josh Allen special pick'em, more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets on Monday night if you use promo code FLOCK. If you're new to Underdog, you get an additional mystery special pick'em. Please make sure you are taking advantage of that ASAP while you still can. I know we've been talking about it a lot because it's like something that never happens and you need to take advantage. But Josh coming out with our next question, saying 10-team PPR format, any roster advice. We have Josh Allen at QB. Running back, we have CMC, Kenneth Walker. Wide receiver, we have Waddle, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tight end, we have Kittle. We also have Keenan Allen at the flex. And then on the bench, we have Russ, Dalvin, Swift, Pirine, Addison, London, and Kincaid. Great team. This is an elite team. We have elite running backs. We have great wide receivers. I have no idea how the hell you have this team. The only thing I'd say is when we have Josh Allen, we don't need Russ. If you wanted to cut Russ, not going to fault you at all for that. Yeah, great team. They're literally the only thing I could say is possibly cut Russell Wilson. 2-point conversion. What's happening here? Oh, dear God. Great play. Great play. I got to give him props. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Robert says, one more question for the flex. Are we going to be going with Hopkins or Raheem Mostert? We will be going Raheem Mostert. Looks like a must-start guy at this point. If you look at the overall game environment and the projected volume he is looking to see, I think you have to. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Prestige Steeler, who says, Justin Herbert, Bijan Robinson, James Cook, Garrett Wilson, Kirk Kmet, with a bench of Taylor, Charbonnet, Montgomery, Van Jefferson, Sutton, Algier. What do you think? Ooh, interesting spot, my man. About Cook and Kirk. James Cook, won the training camp. James Cook won preseason. He looks like he will be the full-blown starting running back for the Buffalo Bills, and you should be pretty damn happy about having him. If you're going to be looking at what we have with Christian Kirk, I'd say it's almost the opposite, where Kirk kind of popped up with a red flag with his preseason usage, where potentially you are going to have to deal with, him being regulated as slot duties, potentially, and Zay Jones being in 2 wide receiver sets. I like both guys. I definitely prefer them in a full PPR format. If you're playing in a non-PPR format, you probably need a pivot. But we're really not going to be able to make too many trades until we get Jonathan Taylor back. But Young Log says, report says Andrews is unlikely to play. What tight end to get? Juwan Johnson, nice pivot option. If it's a deep league, we could always go Dawson Knox. If it's a deep league, you can go Knox, and you can send up a prayer that he possibly scores a touchdown. Julian says, would you play Isaiah Likely over Cole Kmet? This is a super interesting question, right? I mean, because Likely is never interesting in the slightest when Andrews plays. But now that there's no Andrews, can you please go down and let me know in the live chat right now? Everybody spam the chat. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Isaiah Likely or Cole Kmet this week? Super interesting question, ladies and gentlemen. Austin says Likely. It's a good matchup against the Houston Texans, of course. Likely, Kmet, likely, Higbee. Oh, we'll definitely go Higbee if you can get him. I'm assuming Higbee's not available. Likely. Yeah, looks like everybody's going Isaiah Likely over Cole Kmet, my man. Very interesting. J-Rob mad at us for telling someone to go Raheem Mostert over DeAndre Hopkins. My man, have you looked at the projections as of late? They're coming out saying that Mostert will be hurt by the second quarter. Well, my man, if you think that is going to be true, you can literally print money. The projections on Underdog for the pick'em has Raheem Mostert at 82.5 total yards. So if you're that confident, my man, you can print money. Now, next question coming out from, I believe, Ron Fuse says, what do you think in any changes in a 12-team PPR format, one quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex? We have Lamar at quarterback. Running back, we have Eckler, White. We have Amon-Ra DK at wide receiver. Higbee at tight end. We have Watson, Javonte, Swift, Dion, Charbonnet, Elijah Moore, Sutton, JSN. Play Sutton if Judy's not going to go. If Judy does play, we're going to go Deion Jackson. Overall, it's a team that I really like. I don't think that we need to be looking to make too many moves right now. We're primarily just going to be waiting until we have a few of these healthy players back in. We're going to be waiting until Javonte Williams expands his role. We're going to be waiting until, hopefully, Christian Watson's back and healthy. So it's a great team. I think we just have to be a little bit patient with it. Okay. So I'm going to actually change the title of this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Andrews out. Okay, so now our next question coming out from Just Do It says 12-team PPR 1 flex. We have Lamar at quarterback. Running back, we have Etienne, Damian Pierce. We have Pickens, Odell, wide receiver, Gross. We have Dawson Knox, tight end, Isaiah Pacheco, the flex. The bench, we have Kelsey, Judy, Davis, Boyd, Algier, Puka. Any advice? I really want a better wide receiver here. I mean, if Judy plays, you definitely play Judy over Odell. Going forward, my friend, let's make sure we don't make this mistake again. It's going to be a small one. It's not going to impact you too much as of now, but maybe potentially in the future it can. You don't want to be playing a Thursday night guy in your flex spot, because if we get a surprise injury, if there's anything bad that happens, we will be in a position where potentially we don't have the flexibility to make a move later on. So if you're going to play, say, someone like Isaiah Pacheco, who goes on Thursday night again, then you play him at RB2 and move down your RB2 like Damian Pierce down to your flex. It's just a future note that should be able to help you out a considerable amount going forward. In the team in the long term, I think it's nice. We just have to play Judy over Odell if he's good to go. And if he's not, play Gabe Davis over Odell. Jonathan says, with Watson out now, we're going to go Dion, Herbert, or Gibson. I'm going to go with Khalil Herbert here, my friend. And Garson coming out says, trade where I give Kenneth Walker and Kittle and get back Gibbs, Hawkinson, Sutton. Need a replace for Kupp while he's out. We have Walker as our RB2. We have CMC, RB1, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex league. We have Montgomery on the bench. If you wanted to go through and sell David Montgomery, if we could get to the tier of guys like Amari Cooper, DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, it would be a no-brainer. A tier down, looking at the players like Deebo Samuel, DJ Moore, and maybe we can go ahead and do it. And honestly, when we have no Kupp and when it's a league where we have to start 3 wide receivers and have a flex, I'm going to be fine if you want to go ahead and make that move, my friend. Now, Young Missile says, rate the team PPR format where we have Geno quarterback, running back, we have Bijan, Aaron Jones, wide receiver, we have Jefferson, Ridley, Hawkinson tight end, flex DJ Moore, And then on the bench, we have Lawrence, Kirk, Kincaid. This is a great team, okay? Much, much better spot than I thought we were going to be in. The only change that we really want to be making in the short term is make sure that we are playing Trevor Lawrence over Geno Smith. Long term, we'll be in a very good spot. Do not give up on Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs will expand his role. Gibbs going to be great. Don't pivot off Gibbs. You're going to be in a good spot. And start Lawrence over Geno Smith this week, my friend. Okay. Now, Jaden coming out saying 12-team PPR format where we have Mahomes at quarterback. Running back, we have Miles Sanders and Robinson. Wide receiver, we have Jefferson, Olave, Waller at tight end, Kirk at the flex, with Javonte, Jayden Reed on the bench. Who should we start at my flex with roster advice? So if we're going to be looking at our flex, I think we are going to keep it with Christian Kirk over Javonte Williams based off the report that we got earlier today coming out from Sean Payton. He just essentially said, yep, Javonte's going to be on a snap count. Javonte on the snap count, it is very concerning. I don't necessarily know if we can be going in that direction now, especially in a full PPR format where Kirk should see a considerable amount of volume. Falcons fans to start Van or JSN. I will be going Van over JSN week 1. Obviously, long-term we go JSN. Now, Brett says 12-team PPR double flex format. We have Lawrence, Gibbs, Akers, Brian Robinson, Charbonnet, Kupp, Van, Wilson, Odell, Pickens, Hawkinson. Should we trade Akers, Brian Robinson, Kupp for Ridley and Dobbins in any other trades to go for? So going from Kupp to Ridley, I would prefer Ridley and hook 'em horns, ladies and gentlemen. Get them up. Get them up, ladies and gentlemen. Hook 'em horns. Let's go. If y'all don't know, your boy went to University of Texas. Hook 'em. But anyway, going back to this, my man, I think it's a very fair deal. I mean, Ridley versus Kupp. I think I would go Ridley. If we're going to be looking at Akers versus Dobbins, I will go ahead. We will take J.K. Dobbins. To pay Brian Robinson to get it done, it makes sense. In a league with 2 flex spots, where ultimately at the end of the day, it's going to be a little bit harder to find depth, a little bit harder to find the replacement for Cooper Kupp. I think we can go ahead. I think we can make this move, my friend. Okay. But now our next question coming out from, I believe, Kyle says 10-team league. We have Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Running back, we have Dobbins, Jones. Wide receiver, we have A.J. Brown, Deontay Johnson. Higbee at tight end, Judy in the flex. And then on the bench, we have Richardson, Stevenson, Everett, Watson. What we would change? You have to start Ramondre Stevenson. Stevenson looks like he'll be good to go, dealing with an illness. I know he missed practice yesterday, but my man, please go through, start Ramondre Stevenson over Jerry Jeudy. Much more concerned about Jerry Jeudy's hamstring. Even if Jeudy does play, I think that could limit him, and honestly, could be a gross spot overall. I don't want to play Jerry Jeudy till we actually see him out there and producing. Okay. Now, Garso says, hey, sent the deal with Walker and Gibbs minutes ago. If I can't get Kittle for Hawkinson in the deal, is me giving Walker and getting Gibbs and Sutton worth it for me since I need a Kupp replacement? If it's a full PPR format, yes. Full PPR format, I think you could potentially be in a spot where Jahmyr Gibbs is just as appealing as Kenneth Walker down the stretch, given the expanded role he should see as a pass catcher, even if it may be a little bit gross at the beginning of the season. Okay. Let's swing this over. Eric says, what's up, Mason? Pick one, Pirine or Javonte. We're going to go ahead. We will take Javonte Williams. I mean, it's going to be on snap count. It looks like it's going to be a 3-man split backfield. I'm not going to believe in Penny. Now, Cunning coming out says 12-team PPR format, 1 flex. We have Allen, Bijan, Chase, Kirk, Schultz, Gibbs. Any advice? Great team. The only advice that I have is if we have a depth wide receiver on the bench, we can package with Dalton Schultz to get an upgrade at tight end. That would be really nice. And the second main thing that I want to be looking at is do not give up on Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs will continue to crush it. Gibbs will be great. You just have to let him expand his role. Full BBR format. Still running back that's going to be that elite level receiving down back. Please hold on to Gibbs when you can. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 2 likes away from hitting 1,100 likes on the stream. Please go down there and drop a like on the live stream if you have not done so already. Now we're only 1 And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, it's not too late. Now is actually the best time to do so because they have a site-wide special, Saquon Barkley, more than less than half a total yard against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night. If you use promo code FLOCK, you're going to get an additional Josh Allen special pick'em, more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets Monday nights. And then also, if you're new to Underdog Fantasy, you're going to get an additional mystery special pick'em. 3 special pick'ems. I literally have never seen this before on Underdog. Please make sure you take advantage while you still can. But let's go ahead. Let's find our next question coming out from, I believe, Young Lock, who says, actually, no, Ronfi with our next question, who says, with the previous team I showed, Dalton Kincaid is available. Should I drop anyone? Also, for a PBR format, is Tony a drop? Touchdown Texas. Let's go. Let's go, my man. And yeah, Tony's a drop, right? I mean, just for the sole reason that we want to keep the locker room morale high. We want to make sure that your fantasy football players are still respecting you. If you don't drop Kadarius Toney after Thursday night, what precedent does that set for the other players on your fantasy team? What lessons are you're teaching that failure gets rewarded? No, failure does not get rewarded. Failure gets cut. Cut Kadarius Toney, even in a full PBR format. And yeah, we would definitely drop Kadarius Toney for Dalton Kincaid. Going to be a no-brainer there, my man. Now, Young Lot coming out says, top 10 tight ends on the waiver wire include Taysom, Dulcich, Gesicki, Hurst, Ferguson, Musgrave, Irv, Otten, Thomas, and Noah Fant. What is the best pick here? I think it will be Greg Dulcich. I mean, right now, if you look at his underdog pick, he's at like 31 in receiving yards against the Raiders. It's a tough offense. It's tough because he does look like he's maybe in like a pseudo tight end by committee. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, especially if Judy is banged up with a hamstring, you could see him getting volume. Now, Matty Ice coming out saying, in a 10-team at PBR format double flex, we have Fields at QB. Running back, we have Jacobs, Sanders, Pacheco, Dillon. Wide receiver, we have Lamb, Higgins, Kirk, Sutton. Andrews at tight end. Thoughts and any moves? We need to go ahead. We need to pick up a backup tight end. Hopefully, we have a worse option on the bench that we can cut to fill in for Mark Andrews here, my man. Obviously, we're excited with Justin Fields in the long term. I mean, in the short term, even he's going to give us production, especially if this is a 4-point passing touchdown league. We have Jacob Sanders. This is a great team. Great team. If we could sell Christian Kirk, go get DJ Moore, stack with Justin Fields, we do that. But outside of that, we just need a backup tight end to fill in for this week. Crabvision says, trade away Waller for Ridley. We have Laporta on the waiver wire. Yes, go ahead and do that. I mean, you'll know we've been saying Darren Waller is a sell-high candidate, even though I don't want to say it in front of Jeep Guy. I don't want to say that in front of him. But Big Route says, Dobbins or Reem Mostert for the flex in a league. I'm still going to go Dobbins. If you look at the matchup against Houston Texans, it is beautiful. I mean, they are 10-point favorites. They should be able to lead the game the entire time. Should be able to get a considerable amount of volume. And Okamoren's Texas just won the game. Texas just won the game. Let's go. Even if the projections maybe say Raheem Mostert is the guy to go with, still, ultimately, I think we can override him. I think we can go Dobbins. Now, Adam's coming out saying, 12-team PPR double flex format. We have Justin Herbert, Anthony Richardson at QB. Running back, we have Bijan, Herbert, Kenneth Gainwell. Wide receiver, we have Jalen Waddle, A.J. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, Gabe Davis. Tight ends, we have Waller, Kittle, and Higbee. My man, it is time to sell a tight end. All right. I think we'll have one of Darren Waller, George Kittle at least good to go. So what I want you to do is I want you to go out there and see what we can get. Please see what we can get for Tyler Higbee. Higbee is getting a bump up now, considering the fact that, I mean, this is a spot where he should see an expanded target share with no Cooper Kupp. But still, at the end of the day, I mean, it's a double flex league. Wide receiver depth's going to matter a little bit more. Let's take Michael Thomas. Let's take Tyler Higbee. Sell him to a team that has Mark Andrews and see the best wide receiver we can get in return. Now, Jack says, Waller or Flowers to the flex with Andrews out. Thanks. So thank you, my man. And I guess, yeah, Zay Flowers is kind of a must-start guy now, right? I'm still going to go Darren Waller. I still think Waller is better than Flowers. But yeah, if I told you earlier in the week that Flowers was a bench. Like, especially, I know we told some people to play JSN over Flowers. I take it back, ladies and gentlemen. Please go Zay Flowers. Please start Zay Flowers. Jay, happy to see you, my man. Hey, Mason, good to be back for another season. Standard 10-team league, we need a flex between Hall, London, Pickens. Much love and high vibrations. My man, love to see it. Thank you so much for coming out. I think we are going to go ahead. We will take Drake London. It will be interesting to see the passing volume that we get in Atlanta. Obviously, interesting to see the split that we have with the New York Jets between Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. But nonetheless, let's go ahead. Let's get Drake London. And George Pickens is just a clear avoid in a very tough matchup against the 49ers. Now, Infinite TV says P. Ryan or Odell, and then flex Elijah Moore, Bateman available. I'd pick up Bateman. I think we start Bateman over these guys. I mean, if you really wanted to go Odell, you can. I'd probably go Bateman over Odell. But I think we go with the Baltimore Raven now that you have no Mark Andrews. I think you have to. And Andrews hasn't officially been ruled out. We are going to have to go through. We're going to have to continue to monitor that. But they're saying he's likely not playing. They're saying he's likely not playing. He's most likely not playing. Now, Aiden says, a 14-team app PBR format. We have Mahomes at QB. Running back, we have Saquon Connor. Wide receiver, we have Pittman Hopkins. Andrews at tight end. Gabe Davis in the flex. On the bench, we have Odell, Lazard, Jameson, Rashee Rice, Deuce Vaughn, Irv Smith Jr. Obviously, we're going to be playing Irv Smith Jr. And overall, it's a great team from a 14-team perspective. If it was like a 10-team league, it'd be trash. 12-team league, it'd be average. I like it in a 14-teamer. Play Irv Smith Jr., send up a prayer that somehow he scores a touchdown in Cincinnati. And then let me know in the live chat right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to be too pumped for Odell before we actually see what he looks like. But who would you rather start? Would you rather start Odell Beckham Jr. or Gabe Davis, assuming Andrews is not playing, which most likely he's not? We have over 1,000 people in the chat. Can we get 1,000 messages in the live stream right now? I would love to hear your opinion on this. Are you going to go Odell Beckham Jr. or Gabe Davis, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. Davis, Odell, Davis, Odell, Davis. Looks like it is split pretty much 50-50. Maybe with more people. Yeah, more people definitely going Odell now. I actually would still probably prefer Gabe Davis just because I'm very confident with the role that he has. It's close, though. It's definitely something that we can look into. First down, Texas. Hook 'em horns. We're winning this game. The game's over. GG. Now, Kingdom of Finance. My man, I know this is going to be the craziest thing. I watch Strongman. Let me know in the live chat. I watch Strongman. But anyway, coming out. This is crazy to see you in here, my man. Small world. Saying 10-team league, how's the team holding up? We have Mahomes at quarterback. Wide receiver, we have Tyreek Ridley, London. Running back, and I watch Fabio too, side note. Running back, we have Bijan Pierce. Tight end, Dallas Goedert. DJ Moore down in the flex. And then on the bench, we have Fields, Dotson, Madison, Ollie. Great team when pretty much everybody's been decimated with injuries at this point. If we are looking at this, you can afford to sell one of these depth options, my man. I mean, John Dotson, Alexander Madison. Let's go approach the Cup team. Let's go approach the Jonathan Taylor team. You go, hey, man, I'll give you Alexander Madison, Drake London. Give me the best wide receiver you got. Hey, man, I'll go through and I'll give you John Dotson and Dallas Goedert. Give me an elite level tight end. Give me TJ Hawkinson. Specifically because it's a 10-team league where you have one flex spot, I think you're in a position where you have a ton of possible moves that we can make when depth is not going to be that important. We have a ton of it, and other people are going to need some help based off the injuries that they have. But let me know, Kingdom, if I have you for the wrong person. Let me know if you're rolling with Fabio. Let me know. But our next question coming out from, I believe, Brutus. Thank you, my man. Says, love the look, Mason. You better believe we're rocking it. If there was ever a day to rock it, it's the day when Texas is beating Alabama. Brutus says, had Andrews at tight end. Now you have Likely on the bench. But would you rather stream Everett, Musgrave with Watson out? Schultz? I would actually go Schultz. I know a lot of people are super pumped about Isaiah Likely, but still at the end of the day, Schultz has the guaranteed volume. Even John Mechie dealing with the hamstring injury. John Mechie's not going to be playing either. So I think you have to go through. I think that you probably have to play Dalton Schultz here, my man. I think we do. Now, our next question coming out from Jay Stees says 18 PPR league, 3 wide receivers. Quarterback, we have Fields. Running back, we have Jacob Stevenson, Madison Hall, Cook. Wide receiver, we have Kupp, Diggs, Judy Ayuk. Tight end, we have Hawkinson. Do we sell Kupp? I think you sell Kupp in a lot of different formats. However, in an 8-team league, that is not one of them. If you're in a 14-team format, we need production. It's going to be hard to find. Go sell Cooper Kupp. 12-team league, multiple flex spots. Depth's going to be harder to find. Go sell Cooper Kupp. 8-team league, the only thing that matters is the elite level ceiling. We have more than enough production to go around. You keep Kupp and you wait it out, my friend. You keep Kupp and you wait it out. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Lee says, 12-team PPR format. We have Lawrence at QB. Wide receiver, we have Tyreek Higgins. Running back, we have Jacob Stevenson. Frymuth at tight end. We have Akers, Hollywood, Pittman, Odell, Quentin Johnston, Tanks Bigsby, and Rashee Rice. What are your thoughts? I think it's a great team. I think if we're going to be looking at a couple of these names, with Akers and Hollywood, I'm personally looking to go ahead and see what we can get for these options. Like if we could potentially sell, say, Hollywood and Cam Akers and get up to a running back that's just going to be in a better offense, go and get up to someone like Travis Etienne. I think that make a lot of sense, especially when we have Lawrence, so we're already betting on that Jacksonville Jaguars offense. And at the same time, we're not dealing with a ton of injuries here where we have the depth where we can afford a 2-for-1 deal. Now, BTN coming out says, week 1 for the flex, we're going to go Deontay or Dotson, full BBR. Thanks. So thank you, my man. Definitely would have gone Dotson earlier in the week, but now that we are getting the update that you have McLaurin good to go and he's completely off the injury report, I will go Deontay Johnson even in a tough matchup against the 49ers. Now, Offet coming out says, full BBR start 1, Musgrave, Likely, or Cole Kmet. I think we are going to go ahead. We will take Isaiah Likely here. I definitely don't want to start Isaiah Likely over names like Dalton Schultz. If we asked the live chat earlier who they wanted between Likely and Kmet with no Andrews, and pretty much everybody took Isaiah Likely, my man. Pretty much everybody did. Okay. Let me go ahead and I got to tweet out Texas back. God, I'm so pumped, ladies and gentlemen. I am pumped. Let's go. All right, now our next question coming out from John says, start 2 full PPR, Burks, JSN, Flowers. Definitely have to start Flowers now that you have no Andrews. Between JSN and Burks, really, ultimately, it's up to you. I mean, both guys coming off injuries. I prefer JSN the talent. I don't generally want to start rookie wide receivers, but by no means is Burks a guaranteed thing, so I will go with JSN here. But definitely have to start Flowers. Renew Fitness, happy to see it, says, PBR, need to start 2 flex. White, Flowers, Dion, and Swift. Definitely going to go White out of this list. Can everybody let me know in the chat now? Please, who are you going with? Are you going to be going with Zay Flowers or Dion Jackson, ladies and gentlemen? Are you going to be going Zay Flowers or Dion Jackson? Flowers, Dion. Flowers. It looks like everybody's going Flowers over Dion. I'm still nervous. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is still a rookie wide receiver. I don't know, but viable now for sure. Tsunami, happy to see it, says, what's good, Mason? We have Dobbins and all starting. Should I pick up Kareem Hunt? Should I drop Kareem to pick up Dion to start week 1. Hell yes. Drop Kareem. He hasn't signed by now. Trust me, I was holding him in a few spots as well. Hopefully he comes through for some best ball teams. Hopefully he signs soon. But yeah, there's no reason to roster Kareem Hunt over Deion Jackson. We have an available starting running back. Go get Deion and start him over Breece Hall, my friend. Now the music mic coming out says wide receiver 1 Olave, wide receiver 2 Garrett Wilson, flex Zay Flowers or Williams. Definitely going to go with Mike Williams. Not even close. Mike Williams, beautiful game environment, even if we have Lamar at quarterback. Don't overthink it. You still go Mike Williams. Now, Jason says 12-team half PPR league. 3 wide receivers, super flex. We have Hurts, Purdy, Stroud, Lamb, St. Brown, Metcalf, Evans, Burks, Renfro. Running back, we have Etienne, Montgomery, Kamara, Mitchell, tight end, Igby, Ferguson. Thoughts and how to improve. Great team in a super flex format, my man. Super flex format having Jalen Hurts, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Travis Etienne holding down the fort. Phenomenal. I will say, once we are in a spot where we potentially have Alvin Kamara coming back from suspension, there, I think we can definitely look to go through and potentially sell David Montgomery high. I mean, at that point, we'll probably see Jahmyr Gibbs expanding his role more and more in this offense. So if we can potentially package together maybe like David Montgomery and Kamara to go get a running back in the, actually, I don't even want to say that. Go like David Montgomery and Mike Evans and go get a running back up in like the Ramondre Stevenson range. I think that would be very interesting, but we're not going to do it until Kamara's looking like he's closer to being back. Wolvie says, is Andrews out tomorrow? Where are we ranking likely? Do we play him over Schultz still? I probably would play him over Greg, not over Dalton. And yeah, I'd say probably a high-end tight end 2. Isaiah Likely high-end tight end 2 at this point. But Hayden coming out saying, PBR, Gabe Davis, Terry, Bateman, or Van Jefferson. We're going to go ahead. We will play Gabe Davis. Don't really want to rely on the turf toe with Terry. Vexify says, Likely or Irv. We're going to go Likely over Irv and Likely or Everett. Let me see what the underdog pick'em is with Gerald Everett. I know we just missed it. 33.5 receiving, 3 receptions. I probably go Everett just because I think it's such a high scoring game. I probably go Everett over Likely. I probably rank it Everett, Likely, Irv. In reality, I think if you want to go Likely in both instances, you can. Jesse, happy to see you, says, big fan Mason, London, Breece, or Dion in the flex in a full PBR format. Happy to see you, my man. Full PBR format, I think that we are going to go ahead. We most likely will just be starting Drake London. With Deion Jackson, I mean, he's going to be definitely more appealing for us now whenever you're looking at the fact that, I mean, you don't have Zach Moss. You pretty much get the guaranteed production here with Deion. He's just going to be in a spot where the offense is gross overall. Richardson's probably going to take rushing production. And we don't know what the split's going to be with Evan Hall. Yeah, so I'm going to go Drake London against the Panthers. Rick coming out says, Burrow at quarterback. We have Mixon, Chubb at RB. We have Shaheed, Addison, Goddard. Moore played Thursday. Cup and Judy injured. Should I go with Osborne, Jaden Reed, or Hunter Renfrow? I will play Jaden Reed over Shaheed. Go Reed over Shaheed. Now, with this being said, 2 things. 1, let's send up a prayer that Jerry Jeudy is good to go. 2, let's not start flex options. I'm sorry. Please do not start Thursday night players in your flex going forward. If you commit that you're going to start a Thursday night player, if it's Sky Moore, then you want to go ahead and you want to put him at wide receiver 2. You don't put him in your flex because, I mean, for lack of a better word, you'll lose all flexibility later in the week in case anything goes wrong, especially with injuries. Ron Fee says, PBR drop 2. Kincaid, JSN, Elijah Moore, Bateman, Charbonnet. Elijah Moore and Kincaid here, my man. Elijah Moore and Kincaid. Sean says Evans or Williams at the flex, Herbert at quarterback. Regardless who we have a quarterback, you got to go Mike Williams. Mike Williams must start guy this week. Quentin Johnson really not going to be a factor here. I mean, and also just a beautiful matchup against the Miami Dolphins. Now, next question coming out from Enor says, I'm between DeAndre Swift and Bateman at the flex in a full PPR format. I'll ask the live chat again. Obviously, these receivers for the Baltimore Ravens will be getting the bump up. Can everybody please spam the chat? Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Rashad Bateman or DeAndre Swift with no Mark Andrews? Please let me know, ladies and gentlemen. We have one Bateman. And yes, we got to throw up the hook of Morris. Y'all know we got to throw it on. Swift. Bateman. Swift. It does look like it's split 50-50. I'm going to go Swift. I'm not going to overthink it, even without Andrews. Swift, elite level offense, potential RB1 here. I'm taking him. J-Rob, happy to see you. My man says Ayuk or James Conner for the flex in a non-PBR format. Non-PBR format, I'm going to go with the running back. Non-PBR format, I'm going to go Conner. Even if touchdown upside may look a little bit limited based off how bad the offense is. Now, Tim out here coming out says pick 2. Flowers, Ayuk, Cooks, James Cook, John Dotson. I'm going to go with James Cook, and I'll still play Jahan Dotson over Brandon Ayuk, my friend. I think we still go ahead. You still play John Dotson over Zay Flowers, even with no Andrews. I mean, obviously it sucks that McLaurin's back, though. Carlos says Juwan Johnson, Isaiah Likely, or Luke Musgrave over Andrews. Out of this range, we will go Isaiah Likely. Here we will go Likely. Now, Rano coming out says Gabe Davis, Treylon Burks, A.J. Dillon, Addison Judy in the flex. We're going to go plan A, Jerry Judy, plan B, Gabe Davis, if Judy doesn't play. Nick says, out of Madison, White, Mostert, which two are we taking tomorrow? We're going to go Madison and Mostert. I was way too low on Raheem Mostert in our rankings earlier this week, ladies and gentlemen. He looks like a must-start guy. Everybody, please make sure if you have Raheem Mostert, you go through and you put him in your starting lineup ASAP. And also, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Hook 'em horns. We took down Bama, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, it's not too late. You can still find that link in the live chat link in the description. You have the Saquon Barkley special pick'em available right now on Underdog for Sunday night. More than less than half a total yard against the Dallas Cowboys. On top of this, if you use promo code FLOCK, you're going to get an additional special pick'em more than less than half a passing yard for Josh Allen against the New York Jets on Monday nights. And on top of this, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to Underdog Fantasy, you're going to get an additional mystery special pick'em. You're only going to get all three with promo code FLOCK plus that 100% deposit match. So make sure you are taking advantage. Link in the live chat. Now, let's go ahead. Let's find our next question. This one coming out from Twinny says, we have Lamar and Andrews. Should we pick up Likely to keep the stack? Not if we have a bet. It obviously just depends on who we have the better option with. Like, don't be overthinking like, oh, I have Lamar, so that means I have to have Likely. No, don't think that way. Weather says PBR, Jamal or Brandon Cooks. We're going to go Jamal easily. Miller not playing tomorrow. Obviously, Kamara not playing. You go Jamal. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Henry, who says, sit Musgrave and Addison for JSN and Laporta. Beautiful spot. I'd rather have Laporta over Musgrave. I'd rather have JSN over Addison. Other guy needed a tight end this week because Andrews, way to take advantage of another team's need. Love it, my man. Makes sense for both sides in that case. Going and getting Jackson Smith and Jigba is just such a beautiful spot. Love to see it. Love to see it. Now, our next question coming out from Ryan says, need a flex. We have London, Hall, or Antonio Gibson. We are going to go ahead. We're going to go Drake London in a full PBR format in a good spot against Carolina. Nick, always happy to see you, my man, says, in shambles with my Cooper Kupp, Mark Andrews team. Start two between Javonte, Deontay, Dotson, Flowers, JSN. Also have to start Musgrave with no depth left. RIP, my man. I think we are going to go Deontay and John Dotson. I will still be starting these wide receivers over Zay Flowers, But, I mean, Zay Flowers has the best opportunity in front of him, right? Great matchup against Houston, where you don't really have to be worried about the Houston Texans defense. Plus, all the target volume in the world where you have no Mark Andrews. So if it's going to happen for Flowers, it's going to be now. Now, Free Zombie coming out says, already have Barkley as a starter. We need to pick 2 more. We need another starter and a flex between Stevenson, Dalvin, and Etienne. Breece Hall looks like he's going to go. So I think we are going to go ahead. I think we are going to take Breece Hall easily. We're going to avoid Dalvin Cook easily because it's going to be a split. We're going to go Ramondre Stevenson and Travis Etienne easily. Continue to monitor the situation that we have with Ramondre. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I think he'll play. He is dealing with an illness. He should probably be pretty damn good. All right, our next question coming out from Ho says, likely or Kittle in happy BR format? You definitely go Kittle. Kittle plays, you go Kittle. Other league, likely or Ingram? You definitely go Ingram. Don't be overthinking this too much. And then Bateman, Van, Addison, Elijah Moore, Dobbs, or Algier for the last flex spot. If you would have asked me before Mark Andrews was ruled out, I probably would have told you to go Van Jefferson. Now I think you go Rashad Bateman. Give the bump up to Bateman there, but versus the tight ends, please still go Kittle. Please still go Ingram. Tover says, flex 1, Juju, Dalvin, Dylan, Hawkinson, or JSN. Help, Flock for life. Really appreciate you, my man. And what situation are we in that TJ Hawkinson is our flex option? Go sell Hawkinson. Now, go sell your tight end. Go sell someone. Actually, I don't even see how Hawkinson could potentially be your flex. The only tight ends ahead of Hawkinson are Kelsey and Andrews. Both are out this week. So I would say, my man, Hawkinson should be in your tight end slot. If not, I will go Dalvin. I just hate starting tight ends in the flex. I'm really never doing it. But really interesting call there. And Pack Magician says, likely or Pitts. Please don't overthink this. Please go Kyle Pitts. And he's fourth coming out, says, so are we meeting at Crown and Acre or what? I hope you had the game off to the side. Yes, sir, we did. And sadly, I'll be waking up at the crack of dawn tomorrow. We'll be doing about 10-hour live stream. So, no, we will not be going out tonight to celebrate. I would imagine that Austin is going to be freaking nuts, though. And yes, Texas is back, and I am pumped. You better believe it. Now, Fabian coming out saying, Miles Sanders, Jamal, Breece Hall, or Rachaad White. We have to flex to. We're definitely going to go with the first 2 guys. We're going to go with Miles Sanders in a very good matchup. We're going to go Jamal Williams when you have nobody else here either. Let's go with Sanders and Jamal. Junior coming out says, Big 2 at BBR League. We have Mostert, Jamal, Najee, and Rachaad White. I think we're going to go with probably Najee and no. Now that Miller is officially out, plus we're seeing the updated projections with Raheem Mostert, we have to go Mostert and Jamal Williams. I wouldn't have said that at the beginning of the week, but now I think that based off how everything's trended, they are looking good enough where we can avoid having to play Najee against the 49ers. Harrison says, hey, Mason, Nico, or Odell, happy BR. We're definitely going to go Odell Beckham Jr. here, my man. I think you want to give that bump up to Odell at that point. Now, Martin says, should I drop Kmet, pick up Likely? I would still rather have Kmet rest of season. And honestly, they're so close this week. I'd still probably just keep Kmet because Likely is not going to be viable for you in week 2 and beyond, assuming Andrews is back. AGH coming out and says, after the Texas fat dub, I had to come out and say, hook 'em horns, baby. Yes, hook 'em horns. And you know we got to be rocking the helmet. And good day, good day. But happy to see you. Devin coming out with the donation. Thank you, my man. Appreciate it. Twinny says, my options are Likely, the tight end Tennessee, Kmet, Everett, Musgrave. I probably go Everett just because how high scoring this offense is going to be, how high scoring this game's going to be. And everybody spam the chat here. Twinny's been a long time member of the flock. Please help him out. It's such a tough call. Really, when you start one of these tight ends, it's a crapshoot. 90% of the time, they're going to be bad. You're just looking for the one time that they can possibly score a touchdown. So please go to the live chat and spam Who are you starting out of these tight ends, ladies and gentlemen? Who are you going with? Everett, Musgrave. Likely, Everett, Musgrave. Musgrave, likely, Musgrave. Komet. You see it? It's just all over the place. Like, it's so hard to know who to go with. I think ultimately it is going to be down to your personal preference and who you want, my man. But our next question coming out from, I believe, Fabian says, worded horribly, meant in flex 2 spot, Sanders or Jamal? I think we are going to go Sanders. Jamal obviously is very appealing with no Miller, with no Kamara, but still very good matchup for Miles Sanders against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Devin coming out again saying, full BBR 10-team league, we have Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Running back, we have Mixon, Jamal. Wide receiver, we have Evans, Godwin, Lamb. Freiermuth, beautiful team. Drop Zach Moss. You go pick up another running back off the waiver wire. I mean, if you don't get to see his action this week, it really is just going to close the window on him possibly being viable, especially 10-team league. Quentin Johnson, Pittman, Waller. Great team overall. Once we get Waller back, I think we potentially go through and see if we can patch together either Waller and like Evans for an elite level wide receiver, or maybe like Freiermuth and Jamal for a long-term upgrade at running back. But obviously, probably should have 2 tight ends right now with Waller dealing with the hamstring. And I probably would start Pat Freiermuth unless we get guaranteed that Waller will be good to go tomorrow night before we have to make that decision. Cabanova coming out says, Everett, Hayden, or Isaiah Likely. Up to you. I just don't know, my man. We asked everybody in the live chat. Nobody in the live chat knew either. Happy BR, do I trade JT? We have Pierce, Shavonte, Zeke, Zach. Wide receivers are, I think honestly, maybe we have to go ahead and we have to trade JT here. Obviously, it depends on what we can get, but if we can go JT and a smaller piece like Ezekiel and get like to Travis Etienne or get to a player that we can start comfortably, I think that'd make a lot of sense. Now, Lev coming out says, full BBR, Lockett, Godwin, Swift, or more. We will go ahead. We will take Chris Godwin earlier in the week. Potentially, we would have gone with Tyler Lockett, but it does look like Lockett's going to be a little bit less appealing considering the fact that now you have JSN good to go. C7 says, need help with the final lineup. We have Lamar at quarterback. Running back, we have Barkley, Ramondre. Wide receiver, we have A.J. Brown, Dotson. We have Waller at tight end, Montgomery at the flex. And then on the bench, we have Charbonnet, Najee, Swift, London, Mims, and Mingo. My man, great team overall. I really do like it. Now, I will say going forward, please make sure when you play a Thursday night guy that you always put him in at RB2 or wide receiver 2 and never the flex. Because now, Sunday morning, whenever we're submitting our starting lineup, it does leave us with fewer options on how we can configure this. Even if you had, like, say, Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, and you were going to flex someone like Deion Jackson. If you decide that he plays on Thursday and you're going to go with him no matter what, you then move like Christian McCaffrey down to your flex and put Deion up there as a starting running back just in case anything happens with injury. So, side note going forward, please never flex a Thursday night guy. But outside of that, the best option that we have on the bench at running back would be Najee. I definitely don't want to play him over Barkley. I definitely don't want to play him over Stevenson. The best option we have on the bench at wide receiver would be Drake London. And to be honest with you, I probably would slide London into the starting lineup now. I think we would put Drake London in here over Jahan Dotson, just given the fact that you have McLaren good to go. And if you look at the underdog pick'em, I mean, right now they have John Dotson sitting only at 3.5 receptions, 43.5 receiving yards. Like I said, I like the higher than on there, but still, if that's his median projection with Terry McLaurin back in, I think we pivot to London. Now, our next question coming out from Dev says, Happy BR, Bateman or Gabe? I'm a Ravens. If you're a Ravens fan, you can go Bateman. It's close. I still probably go Gabe Davis, but if you're a Ravens fan and want to have fun week 1, you can go Gabe. You can go Bateman. True Player says, a flex 2, Dobbs or Reed if no Dobbs, Bateman, Likely, Pittman, Mingo. We also have to play a running back between Gainwell, Algier, Deion, Pirine. Definitely going to go Deion there at RB. We're going to be going at wide receiver. At the flex, definitely Michael Pittman. And then we will be going with, we'll go with Rashad Bateman over the Green Bay guys. because at least we know that the Baltimore Ravens offense is going to be good. So go Bateman, Pittman, and then go with Dion with our RB spot. Non-BBR format, are we going to be going with Mims or Flowers? We're going with Zay Flowers there, my man. Even if Jerry Jeudy misses, Flowers much better offense. Flowers much better player. Now he gets the opportunity. DeWitt says Ferguson or Isaiah Likely. It's a crapshoot. It's up to you. Can everybody please spam the chat? We have 1,200 people here. Can we get 1,000 messages in this live chat right now? Who are you going with? Are you going with Josh Ferguson or Isaiah Likely, ladies and gentlemen? Please let me know. Please let me know. Okay. So now we have likely, Ferguson. Likely, Ferguson, It looks like most people are going to go likely. If you are already rostering both, then I think you go ahead and take Isaiah Likely. Because another thing you have to think about, right, is if it's like Isaiah Likely or my starting tight end right now and Jake Ferguson, if you have like Ferguson as your starter currently and to pick up Likely, you'd have to drop someone on the bench. The difference between the two is probably not worth to take up another roster spot and drop someone, right? And we'd still clearly rather have Ferguson long-term. Tover says double flex, no tight end spot. Andrews out leaves me with Hawkinson, Juju, Dillon, Dalvin, JSN. I have a trade soon for Allen. Okay, yeah, definitely, my man. If it's a double flex, no tight end slot, you don't want to have Andrews and Hawkinson. Let's please go ahead. Let's see if we can sell one of these guys. I mean, we saw someone in a league with no flex earlier go out there and maybe it was you, Topher. I don't remember. I'm sorry. We're riding off a wild Texas win. We've been live for 3 hours. But yeah, they went through and they traded, I believe, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews for Josh Allen, Tyler Lockett. Generally, that's a move that you're looking to make in a league where you don't have to start a tight end because you don't get the opportunity cost there, right? You don't have the opportunity cost when it comes to like who the best tight end is. Now, our next question coming out from Seb says, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. We have Ayuk, DJ, Javonte, Khalil Herbert, Evans, and Hall. 2 wide receivers are going to be going with DJ Moore and Mike Evans. Running back, we're going to be going with, our flexes, we're going to be going with Khalil Herbert and Brandon Ayuk. Harrison says, needs running backs. I have Cup. Who do I go for? Also, Odell or Pittman. We're going to go Pittman over Odell. And if you're going to look to sell Cup for a running back, I would love to go out there. I'd love to get someone like, I don't know. If we get like ETN, I think that'd make a lot of sense. But now our next question coming out from, I believe, Jack says, Pierce, MT, Addison. We need to start 2. We're going to be going with Pierce and actually, I don't know, up to you. Kenneth Walker or Aaron Jones. Now that nobody can catch the ball in Green Bay, Aaron Jones is going to get 11 targets. We're going to go Aaron Jones. Definitely go Pierce between these options, assuming this is Damian Pierce. Michael Thomas, Jordan Addison. Ultimately, it's up to you. I'd rather not trust either of them. Week 1, I definitely think they have long-term upsides. Hard to rely on one of those guys week 1, though. Evan says Devonta Smith or London the flex. Obviously, Smith, tough matchup against the Pats. You have to start Devonta Smith, though. Joda says Burrow, Chase, Wilson. Olave, Kirk, Walker, Breece Hall, Brian Robinson, Khalil Herbert, Dallas Goedert, how do we feel? And Hookham Lawrence. Hookham Lawrence, my man, phenomenal team. Burrow, Chase, Stagg. We have running backs we like in the long term. Play Brian Robinson over Breece Hall in the short term. Start Chase, Wilson, wide receiver, Chris Olave in the flex. Great team. Cabanova coming out says, would you trade JT for Ramondre? Yes, I would. If you need running back production right now in a full PPR format, go get Ramondre Stevenson. I would also look to potentially trade JT for like the ETN range. If we can go get Travis Etienne, I would love that as well. Now, Brian says 6-point full BBR, Addison or Gabe Davis week 1. I mean, long-term, we'll go Addison. Week 1, we definitely want to go Gabe Davis, though. Week 1, you don't want to be trusting rookie wide receivers or rookie tight ends. Johnny coming out says 10-team full BBR. We have Burrow at quarterback. Running back, we have Derrick Henry, David Montgomery. Wide receiver, we have Chase, Waddle. We have Andrews at tight end, Madison in the flex. And then on the bench, we have Sanders, Kirk, Hill, Bigsby, Myers, Jones. Who's Jones on the bench? Shouldn't be Julio Jones. Shouldn't be Aaron Jones. What Jones am I missing? Overall, it's a strong team. Love the Burrow Chase stack. The only thing I would say is if you wanted to potentially see if we could go ahead and maybe trade like Christian Kirk and David Montgomery in a package to go get an upgrade at RB2, I think that makes sense. In a full PPR format, I don't think we should have a ton of production when it comes to David Montgomery in the receiving department. Obviously, he looks great behind an elite offensive line that everybody saw on Thursday, and you would be able to get a tremendous amount of value for him. But because you'll be able to get all that value, that's why I think it could be an interesting trade. Arcadic says start Javonte or Sutton in one of my flex spots. Judy plays, we go Javonte. Judy doesn't, we go Sutton. Shrek Fiona says, who do you have? Seahawks, Rams. We're going to be going Seahawks. 49ers, Steelers. We're going to go 49ers. Cowboys, Giants. We're going to be going Cowboys, my friend. I think the last game will be the closest between the three. Gabriel says, the eyes of Texas are upon you. Love you, Big Dog and the Longhorns. Yes, sir. Love you, Hoga Morns. And I will say, obviously I graduated a few years ago from Texas, so I haven't seen much, but like watching the stuff and they go through Eyes of Texas. I mean, even just going through and saying like what here starts the word, like seeing those little commercials, it makes me pumped to be a Texas Longhorn. Yerbo says, shout out to all the fantasy football fanatics. Yes, shout out to all of you sickos. Always happy to hang out with y'all during the season and going to continue to stream every single day until 2024. I mean, I love you guys. And of course, real quick, if you have not done so already, please make sure you go down there, drop a like for the University of Texas. And also, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, it's not too late, ladies and gentlemen. You can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK. They're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. You're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And now is the best time to go and hop on Underdog because they have a site-wide special, more than less than half a total yard for Saquon Barkley against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night. If you use promo code FLOCK, you're going to get an additional Josh Allen exclusive special pick'em, more than less than half a passing yard against the Jets on Monday night. And only with promo code FLOCK are you going to get a third. You're going to get a mystery special pick'em as well. Make sure you're taking advantage. You get all three with promo code FLOCK plus that 100% deposit match. And Michael coming out says, would you start Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones PPR? 6-point passing touchdown format, I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers for the passing volume. 4-point passing touchdown format, I'm going to go Daniel Jones for the rushing upside. Nivon says, likely or Juwan Johnson? Crapshoot, up to you. Most people in the chat would say Isaiah Likely, based off how I'm reading the room here. I have no idea. I'm not going to lie to you. I have no idea. Jamal says, start Zay or Jason. We're definitely going to go Zay now that you have no Andrews, Knox, or Conklin. I'm probably going to go Dawson Knox, Richardson, or Deshaun Watson. We're going to go Deshaun Watson week 1, even if I think Anthony Richardson has the long-term upside with his rushing ability. Now, Luke coming out says, play 2 of Godwin, Debo, Mostert. We're going to go Godwin and Mostert. Getting more and more nervous. Actually, I don't know. Happy BR format. Happy BR format. You definitely have to play Raheem Mostert no matter what. I think we'd probably go Debo over Godwin, though. Yeah, let's go Debo and Raheem. Samuel says, 14-team league. We need a flex between Dillon and Bateman. I would have gone Dillon if Andrews would have played, but now that Andrews most likely is not playing, we're going to go Rashad Bateman. TJ says, full PPR pick 2, White, Dotson, and Mostert. We're going to be going with the running backs here, my man. I want to tell you Dotson. I really do. I could go back and forth. You have to go Raheem Mostert, though. His projection on Underdog is 82.5 total yards. But if you look at the pick'ems that they have right now on Underdog Fantasy, you have 43.5 receiving yards for Jahan Dotson. 43.5. Whereas if you look at what they have with Rashad White, they have Rashad White up at 74.5 total yards. So the projections are night and day difference. I think they're way closer than that. As you can tell, I'm going with the fewer than 51.5 rushing yards with Rashad White and the more than 43.5 receiving yards with Dotson. but it's a tough spot. Now, Jarmander coming out says 8-team league with only one flex. The only thing that matters is upside. Quarterback, we have Mahomes. Running back, we have Bijan Pollard. Tight end, we have Hawkinson. Wide receiver, we have Waddle, Cup, Dotson, London, Watson, Addison, JSN. First time drafting the help. Great team long-term. 8-team league. If we can package a wide receiver with Hawkinson, literally any wide receiver on this team to get to Travis Kelce, we 100% do that. We have so much depth here. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit of a tough spot considering the fact that we have no Cooper Kupp. And if it was a 12-team league with multiple flexes, if it was a 14-team league, I'd be very worried. 8-team format with only one flex, my man, you just want to keep Kupp. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters will be that overall upside. And he definitely has it. Now, next question coming out from, I believe, Matt saying, flex, Ayuk, Deion Jackson, McLaurin, Sutton. We're going to go ahead. We will be taking Deion Jackson now. Full PPR format, I think you can make an argument for Brandon Ayuk. Tight end, are we going to go Goddard or Higbee? Obviously, Goddard, tough matchup against the Pats. Also, if you are going to be looking at Tyler Higbee, he does get the pump up with no Cooper Kupp. But I think we still go ahead and we still play Dallas Goedert. C7 says, not worried about a questionable Ramondre and Waller. I mean, I think Ramondre ultimately plays. The issue with Waller, on the other hand, is Waller plays Sunday night, so the pivoting options may be a little bit worse. Of course, we will get further updates tomorrow morning, hopefully, and I will be live streaming and updating everybody, of course. And just in case, side note, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stick around with me for the Sunday morning stream, and as well, we are going to be streaming during the games. It's going to be the first time that I've ever done this. We are going to be throwing an NFL Red Zone watch party. Fantasy football edition, of course. We'll be talking fantasy football the entire time. So please make sure y'all come out and hang out with us during the Red Zone tomorrow. Prestige Steelers says, would you trade Christian Kirk for Drake London or Chris Godwin? Yes, I'd 100% go get Godwin. Also, or London. Get either guy. Sell Christian Kirk for these players. Also, how do you feel about the Herbert Williams stack? Love to see it. I mean, I definitely think that it's going to be a really good spot this week, considering the fact that they have just the perfect matchup against the Miami Dolphins, where this is supposed to be a very high-scoring game overall. So, yeah, I really like it, my man. I mean, if you wanted to go through and potentially look to see if you could sell Williams after the game, then sure, but I don't think so. Henry coming out saying, double flex. We have Dotson, Godwin, Rashad White, and Jamal Williams. We're going to go with both running backs, my friend. Actually, no, we're going to go Jamal and Dotson. I'm sorry, Jamal and Godwin. I can't talk. Dotson is less appealing. He would have been our option if it wasn't for Terry McLaurin being good to go. Now, Christopher coming out saying, super flex, happy BR. We drafted against a Chase. That's great, my man. Love to see it. With Goff and Rodgers at quarterback, should we trade Chase straight up for a bond? No, my man. I like having both Higgins and Chase on the same team. You're making one consolidated bet. You're making one bet that the Chiefs offense stays healthy. They're top 5 passing offense in the NFL. And if that happens, you hit on both guys. If you're trading Chase for Amon-Ra St. Brown, you're making multiple bets. You have to hit on multiple things to be correct there. No, please keep Chase and Higgins. You should be excited about that. James says, PBR for the flex, Brian Robinson, Gabe Davis, Bateman. We have Allen. You're definitely going to go Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson, great matchup. I mean, where they are going to be able to run the ball consistently. Vincent says, trade Chase and Dalvin for Adams and Ramondre. Can everybody help me out with this in the live chat? Obviously, we're upgrading at running back, downgrading at wide receiver, though. Please let me know. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Jamar Chase and Dalvin Cook or Devontae Adams and Ramondre Stevenson? Please spin the chat. We have over 1,000 people here. Chase and Cook. Adams, depends on the format. That's probably the correct answer. Chase, Adams, and Aiden. Happy to see you, my man. Adams. It looks like, most people are going Adams here. Twinny says Chase, keep the best. It's a very tough call. Ultimately, I think it's a very tough spot. Now, Motown coming out says, rank likely Musgrave if Andrews misses. We did this earlier in the live stream. It's a crapshoot. It's up to you. I wish I could come out here and say, oh yeah, Isaiah Likely's the easy start. It's easy to go like. In reality, these guys are still uninspiring. These guys are still very hard to rely upon. You're still betting for a random touchdown with one of these players. And yeah, I don't know, my man. I don't know if we can rank these guys for you. Gustavo coming out says, 10-team PPR format. We have Burrow, Chase, Olave, Waddle, Higbee. I'm assume Jamal, Ramondre. The bench, we have Hall, Kamara, Kirk, Flowers, JSN, Burks. Should I make a trade for an elite tight end? And also love the content, bro. Keep it up. No, thank you so much, my man. And I think long-term, yes, we should. Long-term, we are going to be making a play for an elite level tight end, but in the short term, we can't. The reason being is, if you look at these guys on our bench, they're all long-term options. Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara, Zay Flowers, JSN. So we don't have the depth for right now to afford to go out there and make a play for an elite level tight end. Now, with that being said, of course, once we end up getting Alvin Kamara back from a suspension, once we get a rookie wide receiver breakout, then at that point, I definitely think we can take Tyler Higbee, who most likely will start off strong with no Cooper Kupp, package him with a player like Christian Kirk, and go get that better tight end. But as of right now, it's going to be very difficult to do that, my friend. Randon coming out says, Charbonnet, Mims, or Reed for the flex tomorrow. We're going to be going Mims if Judy does not play. We're going to be going Reed if Judy does play. 612 ISIS. Flock the GOAT. Appreciate you, my friend. Dion or Godwin at the flex and PBR format. Still probably go ahead. Still probably play Godwin even with no Moss. Now, John coming out says, Lamar at quarterback. Are we going to go Zay or Ayuk? I'm still going to go Ayuk over Zay even in a tough matchup. And ultimately, Lamar is not really going to change my decision there. But Josh coming out says, a full BBR format. We have Bateman, Deontay, Dotson, or Sutton. I'm going to go Deontay Johnson. Like, Bateman definitely more appealing. These guys are more appealing. It's just not players I want to lock in as starters. We've been live for 3 hours. I haven't gone pee yet. Y'all know I have a bladder of a squirrel, so give me 1 second to go pee, and I will be back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I am sorry about that, but let's go ahead and let's see if we have anything else here. And actually, we have the prettiest girl in the world coming to say hi if y'all want to see her. You want to come up here? I know you always want to come up here. You always do. You always have to come say hi, don't you? You're not scared of the helmet? You're not scared of the helmet? I know. You're a good girl. All right. We'll go on a walk later. Even though it's getting late, I'll still take you. All right, let's see if we have anything else. R62 says, should we play Likely or Dalton Schultz? Here I am very confident in saying you should still go ahead. You should still take Dalton Schultz over someone like Isaiah Likely. Now, Harrison says, Akers or Khalil Herbert. Earlier in the week, I was saying to go ahead and take Khalil Herbert. But, I mean, if you look at, like, the underdog pick'ems right now, the projections have Cam Akers. I don't know how. As like a 3-down workhorse back with guaranteed volume. I definitely am going to go like the fewer than here, but they have Khalil Herbert just as a baseline, sitting at 64.5 total yards and about 8.95 fantasy points, so 9 fantasy points. Whereas if you're looking at what they have Cam Akers for, they have Cam Akers for 84.5 total yards. So the projections say Akers. I don't know if we're that excited to do it. I'd rather not if it didn't have to. Okay. Now, OG says Kenneth Walker or Ramondre. Full BBR format, I think you can go Ramondre. Anything less, I think if you wanted to go Walker, you can. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to know right now with the status of Ramondre being up in the air just a bit. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, Easy Eddie coming out and says PBR, James Cook, JSM, Jaden Reed. And then for the upside, are we going to go Taysom or Kincaid? Kincaid. PBR format, we go Kincaid. Non-PBR format, we go Taysom. But Kincaid still has touchdown upside because he's playing for the Bills. And Easy Eddie says James Cook. I'm sorry. We're going to go James Cook easily over JSN and Jaden Reed. Like, obviously, it's a spot that's, like, tough to be too excited about, but he does look like he's going to be the starting running back there, right? Now, Luke says, too many players injured and it's only week 1. I actually tweeted that out earlier today. It's like, okay, if this is what this looks like week 1, what do the injuries look like by the time we get to week 8? You know what I mean? Like, how can we even find someone that's going to be good to go week 8? Now, I'm watching the Florida State game right now. Here's my question. This isn't live, is it? There's 10 minutes left to go in the third. It's not a good game. They're winning 52-3. But there's 10 minutes to go in the third. It's 11:20 Eastern right now. Are they playing till 1 in the morning? How are they? Are they playing till 1 in the morning? Like, obviously, it's normal for, like, a team on the West Coast to be playing till 1 in the morning East Coast time. But for a team to be playing on the East Coast till 1 in the morning East Coast time, 8:40 start Eastern. What the? If it wasn't for live streaming, I'd be in bed by now. Okay. But London or Raheem Mostert, my man, you have to go ahead. You have to play Mostert. Please get him in your starting lineup. I was too low on him earlier in the week. Definitely think that you need to go ahead and play him ASAP. But honestly, I think this may be about it for the stream. I will be live at the crack of dawn tomorrow at 7 in the morning. And like I said, we will be live during the games as well tomorrow. So please come hang out with me during the games. Please make sure that you are going to come and party with us watching Red Zone. But if you want to check out any of these pick'ems for the games tomorrow, it is not too late, ladies and gentlemen. You can still find that link on Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK. They're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up 200. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find all of our premium content. And now is the best time to get on Underdog Fantasy because they have a site-wide special. Saquon Barkley, more than less than half a total yard against the Dallas Cowboys. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, get an additional Josh Allen special pick'em only with promo code FLOCK. And if you're new, you also get, you get this regardless, as long as you use promo code FLOCK. You only get the mystery special pick'em if you are new to Underdog Fantasy with code FLOCK. But yeah, find that link in the live chat. Find the description. Brian says wide receiver 3, Bateman Chase. We're going to be going with Bateman here. And then flex Dylan or one of the wide receivers. And we will flex Dylan there. Subtrue says, show some love to Sean Tucker. He looks better. I hope, but it's probably not realistic that Tucker does anything. But that's all I have for you. Again, thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate you. I really hope you have a great day. And really hope that I get to see you in the live stream tomorrow morning and hang out with you and watch Red Zone together during the day.